again, and of course, we've got the big game on happening today. It is the Brisbane Lions versus the Sydney Swans. This should be an absolute cracker of a game today. You just get that down there. That looks better. Fantastic. We're playing this up at Brisbane, up at the Gabba today. It should be a great game. Brisbane Lions versus Sydney Swans. And of course, Brisbane go in as favourites against the league ladder Sydney. Can you believe it? A little bit hard to believe. Just as we have a little bit of a look at the ladder, here is Sydney Swans today. They're on top of the ladder, about 3 games clear. Brisbane are down here in 6th position. They're needing a victory at home, and they'll jump right up into 2nd position. Hey, well, it's going to be a good game, but my tip is Sydney. We'll see how it goes. Of course, hang on, let me get it right for everybody. There's the team lineups. And of course, in for Brisbane, we've got Starcevic and Henry Smith. Omitted is Logan Morris and McKenna. Henry Smith is new into the team. Bruce Revel is the sub. We've got a couple of milestones there. Henry Smith for his debut game. And of course, over to the Swans, we've got Cunningham, Isaac Heaney, Corey Warner. There's some massive ins for the Swans. Of course, we've got McInerney, Mills, and Rowbottom injured. There we go. Corey Werner is the sub for Sydney. That should be a great game. Great game here. There is the lineup. Zorko, Joyce, Lester for the fullbacks for Brisbane. Wilmot, Andrew, Starcevic, the halfbacks. The centres are Fletcher, Rayner, Berry. Half forwards are Cameron, who is in Hipwood, McCluggage, Joe Danaher, Lohman, Achie, and of course McInerney, Dunkley, Lockie, Neal. And for the Swans, we've got Rampy, McCartan, Cunningham, Florent Blakey, Melican, Lloyd, Warner, Goulden are the centres. Jordan McDonald and Fox, the half forwards, and the forwards are Papley, who's ever dangerous, Armity, Haywood, the followers, Brody Grundy, the ruckman, with Luke Parker and Isaac Heaney. Tell you what, they are a star 3 just in those players there. But we're going to get back over here. We're just going to make sure this is nice and level. And then we're going to get the game underway because the players are on the field. Players are on the field. The umpire is out and we're just about ready to go. We've got about a minute before this game gets underway. Let me just try and straighten that up. If I can find that correctly. Just tilt that down a bit. There we go. How's that? Is that looking better? Is that looking a little bit better? I think that's looking a little bit better. Just about there. All right. That looks good. So just welcome everybody in. Today for game day, we've got a couple of games here we're going to cover. Of course, we've got Brisbane Lions, Sydney Swans, and the next game is Carlton and North Melbourne. Should be a couple of good games there today, folks. Should be a couple of good games. But they are down on the ground. There we go. That's not too bad. They're down on the ground. Everyone's in position, and we're going to take it over now to the commentators here at the Gabba for the massive big game, the Brisbane Lions versus the Sydney Swans. Can the home team do it? Can the top team do it? Can they stay on top, or can Brisbane take out victory and move to 2nd on the ladder? All right, let's enjoy the game. Brisbane Lions taking on Sydney.
The problem for them, for Brisbane, in terms of a hard matchup, will be that they can all move around from position to position. And the danger is if you go and try and tag one of them, it's going to pull your team apart. So whether Dunkley's set for someone, whether Berry's set for someone, I'm not sure, because Warner's been coming up like half-forward flank. He's kicked nearly 30 goals this year and averaging 25 disposals, Jenna. So who do you pick? I'm not sure. I think it's probably going to be a watch from the Brisbane Lions coaching staff.
We'll find out pretty shortly, Brownie. But last week he had 15 score involvements and 15 inside 50s. And this is the man they really need to crack down on, because Tom Papley's last 6 weeks have been off the charts. His score and score involvements have had him at his absolute best.
So we're set. This was a time slot the Brisbane Lions dominated back in their heyday. Early Sunday afternoon footy. 6 in a row against the dominant team at the top of the ladder. They're looking to really shore up their run into September, give themselves to getting the all-important double chance.
You don't see Errol Goulden starting in the middle all that often.
So a little bit of an anti-climax in terms of the opening bounce, but huge ruck contest between Grundy and McInerney.
Quick matchups behind the ball. Malikan on Eric Hipwood.
And Parker just came out of the square to go straight on to Lockie Neal.
Gee, there's an indication of how hardcore this is going to be around the footy. Fox sneaks away. Wilmot tried to keep him to account. Fox just batters it. Jordan did really well to get it clear to Warner. And here is Rampy, the forward handball back to Fox, trotting away to half forward. Hayward has a good look inside, and McDonald just out of his reach. Rayner trusts his fend, even though he's on that last line of defence. Darren Joyce comes away with a kick, and there's the first battle. We're going to see plenty between Charlie Cameron and Harry Cunningham, who has been a specialist over the journey, quelling Charlie Cameron. Of course, from a Brisbane Lions point of view, it's just great that Charlie's there. He's had a big weekend from a Sydney point of view. They're probably not happy, given that they lost their champ the week before.
Yeah, I had a chat with Charlie before the game, so it's been a big week for him though, but he feels like the AFL community's been on his side, or certainly most of the community. Bad turnover there.
They've probably accepted the Sydney community over the years. Blakey on the charge and delivering to Amati.
That certainly wasn't a turnover by the Lizard. That was absolutely pinpoint perfect.
Gee, Zorko heard that could have been 50 too, as Archie went
Oh, that's a problem for Zorko.
up and around.
We'll get a feel for the wind here, Brownie. You got any advice for him?
He's in trouble. Kick it as hard as you can. Just cut through the wind, just like they're doing in the British Open at the moment. Just have a look at that. So it's a bit in the back there, or the buttock potentially.
Corky left quad, I reckon it was, and very sore, the little fella.
So Joel Amati, 2 goals last week. It was his first multiple goal-kicking performance since that memorable 9 goals in round 14 against the Crows. Doesn't go for it in the end. That's why Grundy.
Sounds really bad.
It was a sneaky play, wasn't it? That dropped the mark. Wyman runs into Hayward. That was fierce stuff. Great tackle, and you can see the rewards he got from his teammates for that.
Well, the kick coming in, I think, was slightly off the side, but Brownie, the sun was clearly a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem up here in the 1 o'clock games, especially if you're facing down to the western end, of course. It just comes in over the top of the grandstand, so it'll be a problem for the majority of the game. The team that's actually looking into the sun for that particular quarter.
That's the safest way to tackle, isn't it? I guess you're underneath and drag them down on top of you. Not easy to say, not always easy to do.
Great record here from Will Hayward. I want to put the moz on him, but he has really improved his goal kicking this season.
Can't get much more direct than that, but doesn't mean that you'll pick them every time, and every time you put up a graphic like that, it makes it even harder.
Good recovery here from Zorko.
And places it out wide, substantial target to Harris Andrews. So first look at the Lions ball movement, up along the wing. And again, Blakey, a couple of really excellent touches. Well, that was maybe a little too casual. Sneaking in Rayner to Danaher, just had time to get seeing. Go! 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 Joe!
Fantastic by Rayner. He started well, Jared. He's actually had a good few weeks. Even though his numbers haven't been huge. Great to get involved in the play early. So again, he turns that ball over. That's the second intercept mark for him, and moved it quickly. Knew he had the advantage of numbers ahead of him. And this is Joe Danaher to a T. He's had a fantastic season, Joe, but he can do the unique things. This time it comes off.
Well, horrible turnover from the Lizard. He's actually had a good start, bar that kick. But the Raider man on fire right now.
People wonder why Joe chooses that song. He lets it go all right from outside 50. Doesn't need much encouragement.
It's actually been a culprit, Nick Blakey, at times, coming out of defence. It has been an issue, Jared, this season, just coming out of their back half. They do go for some of those $1 million kicks, which most of the time have come off. But Blakey's been a bit of a culprit at times, so they were aware of that, the Lions.
Swans are always a first quarter watch. Parker, back into the team last week. Warner, without any time to direct him. Warner, one of the star young defenders in the competition. Made his debut, of course, in an elimination final and hasn't missed since. Up to Lockie Neal. Ball control progression, very slow advantage, which he uses over Lloyd.
And he's been one player, Brownie, who's really lifted over the last couple of months, as has the Lions.
Yeah, no doubt about it. In a matchup role, the last couple of weeks they've freed him up, just going back to his usual wing position. Today doesn't look like he's got a matchup.
Averaging career high 21 disposals is Barry. Danaher with Tom McCartan. Pivotal duel. Handed from Parker was influential. McInerney to the outside. Rayner. Here Archie just trying to work out who was going to go and who was going to help. McCluggage. Fox. Goulden. Spearing ball to the wing, but one man to get past is Harris. Andrews back into the middle for Darragh Joyce. A few gaps forward. He's going to work it wide to Leicester. So time for him to make the choice kick. Just goes long. Asking as many questions as possible, but answered immediately. It really wasn't to the advantage of any of his teammates.
Well, a great intercept mark by the skipper. Co-skipper for the Brisbane Lions, Harris Andrews. Logan McDonald's got a big job there.
And Tom McCartan doing likewise back to the wing, and here is Zorko.
Good recovery.
Into Wilmot. Oh, there's a loose man. Guess who? It's Joe Danaher again. And you do wonder how he can get loose. Tell us, Brownie.
Yeah, there's a defensive breakdown there, Hutto. So they got caught on the other side of the ground, all the Sydney defenders, and he just actually held his width, Joe, and snuck out, and they all missed him. So 5 or 6 of the Sydney defenders were ball watching, and Joe just thought, how good's this? I've got half the 50 to myself. Kicked the goal from here moments ago.
He's a hard man to miss, is Joe. 35 goals, 31 for the season. He's kicking a goal. Hasn't been quite at its best. It's game 195. That is an outstanding start. That's a brilliant kick. Couldn't have kicked it much more confidently than that. And for someone like Joe Danaher, that is so important early in the day.
Well, as we showed at the top of the program, the Lions trap is one of their pivotal mechanisms for scoring. They've pressed up hard. They've intercepted a couple of times now from Sydney, who have been the author of their own demise in this early part of the first quarter. And Zorko, he just makes good decisions, as this kick was also straight down the throat of Smoking Joe, and he is smoking at the moment.
Forward half turnover, it's a great strength of the Brisbane Lions. Rated number 1 for time in forward half this season. Big part of their game, number 1 for forward half turnovers. I think their improvement has come over the last 8 to 10 weeks, their ability to turn that into a score.
10 goals in 8 previous career games against the Swans, Joe. So it's a good start for him from a historical perspective.
Dane Zorko has gone off the ground down to the race with the physio to have a look like what appears to be a right ankle concern, and Henry Smith to full forward for his first run.
Good luck to the young man on debut.
He grabbed his ankle after a knock to the thigh as well. It was one with a lot, I think, Richie.
And he had to Cunningham. He gave 200. It's a wobbly number inside. McDonald made a good fist of containing it, giving himself a chance, and then he runs into Leicester. Frank tries to reach around. Warner looking for a free kick. Starcevic back in the team today, piling in. It looks like he's matching up on Hayward. Fantastic matchups everywhere, as you'd expect with two quality teams. McClure, the little handoff. Bursting effort from Adams. Cameron is deep back there. But it's going to be paid a mark to Warner, who has a quick grin.
Always got a smile on his face. He may well be the new smiling assassin after Brad Johnson hung him up some time ago. But this will challenge him. He's got the length, obviously, but the accuracy is going to be the issue.
31 disposals last week was a season high. Kicked 2 goals, 3 against the Kangaroos. The Swans had their biggest win of the season. He's flushed it. He's absolutely flushed it. What a player.
It's a difficult one, Jared. The matchup's a difficult one, Chad Warner. So, starting at half forward, we know he goes into the midfield, but now he's kicked 29 goals for the season, averaging 25 touches a game. They're huge numbers. So, the problem is Sydney have got a couple of other boys that are in a similar boat. So, he read that ball well. That was just a mistake from Brisbane. the matchup is an issue for them. Like, who's going to be able to plant him during the day in the forward half and stop his potency? Beautiful finish, great start.
Dane Zorko has got the all clear and he's back on the ground. So good news for Brisbane.
Thank you, Lynchy. Yes, 29th goal for Chad Warner. Also 23 score assists, so just maximum damage. That's what we've all admired so much about the Swans. Dunkley watching him like a hawk. The ball went to Goulden, as Jared mentioned, starting inside the square today. Zorko back there and kicking to half forward. It's a good stretch on the kick to Dunkley. Couldn't take possession. He had Rampy in his face. Lyman contained it well. Getting it was one thing. Hitting it cleanly was another. Archie, an important part of this Brisbane forward line, getting regular games and hitting the scoreboard regularly.
She's smothering him tight has been really impactful so far. The Swans have shut down a couple of really dangerous thrusts forward.
Out of the shadows and into the sun, Roberts to Heaney. Kept them guessing from in to out to Goulden and out in front of McLean, who works up the ground. Provides a way forward here, Hayden McLean. You can see his eyes darting, just begging his teammate to give him something solid to kick to. Goes to the numbers early. Body work was good from Joyce. He got away with whatever movement he was able to provide. This is Brain. McKenna being managed. He's got a big job to do. Just his second full game for Shadow Brain. He was excellent last week in Perth.
Like to move into defence for Shadow.
He's been very good. And this is an area game Sydney need to take away from Brisbane. Highest uncontested mark team in the competition. If Sydney allow this, it's going to be a problem for them.
Ashcroft back to Zorko. So when does it become a problem? How far up the ground? About here, you would think. Starcevic. Offensive way to try and get it over such a distance to Dunkley, and then probably low percentage, but it goes out and they've got it in their forward half.
That's right. Just got to watch that. So 17 uncontested marks already in Brisbane. We know they like to build their game up, like to get it back into the corridor and attack from different angles. So Swans will just need to be on watch with that.
That's a big battle coming up in the ruck. They're both in reasonably good form.
Reflex kick inside from Ashcroft. There's big Henry Smith. He's fighting with his own teammate, Rayner. Not a bad problem.
A bit stiff there, Henry. He was right in the sweet spot. Just let it bounce off the chest.
They're mainly playing forward in the VFL with Darcy Ford as the prime ruckman, so should be accustomed to the role he's going to play today.
This is the strength of Brisbane. So they're forward 50 stoppages. Very strong in this part of the ground. Sydney need to be on high watch here. A lot of dangerous options, especially Charlie Cameron.
Yeah, lots of body work going on between Cameron and Cunningham. Campbell couldn't get out.
Another smother.
Ashcroft, Rayner, McCluggage, Fox got him. Dumped him. It's okay. Adams, Tahini, forward hands, destructive hands. The kick to the wing, though, didn't really match. It allows them a look in, although Joyce couldn't get it the first time. He does the second they settle. Bailey is away. Crowd lift. Expectations rise. Here comes Danaher. Malkin cuts him off. Is it front on or contact from behind? That was the issue, whatever way. It's Danaher to have the shot, Brownie.
It's a great contest, Hunter. Great to watch Tom McCartan against Joe Danaher. Two fantastic players in their respective position, but he was caught in a one out. Malkin got across late to support McCartan, but just the late panic. Wasn't a huge amount in it, but the umpire was there to watch.
Not a huge amount at all. Not that that's Danaher's issue.
That was a great effort by Zach Bailey. That turnover has saved them potentially a goal, and this goes through, gets them a goal.
For a third for Joe Danaher. Early on, that looked like it was going to turn the right way, but a little bit of late swing, and it's the wrong side of the post.
It's important, though, for the Brisbane forwards and Brisbane bigs in the forward line to stop the Sydney intercept marks. Big part of Sydney's game. They can rebound quickly.
Blakey plays it wide. Amadi, the prime target.
Good to see from Amadi. He hasn't been able to hit the scoreboard much the last few weeks, so good to see him get up and get involved.
That's impressive.
Florent to Papley. It was just slightly off that handball. They do rectify with Adams and Papley and Lloyd. A bit of possession footy. That is not going to get paid. And then the nice generous umpire. Quick kick Fox there. The two big guys are there, McDonald and McLean. And it came back McLean's way. And a third arrives at a Marty. And oh, you just can't let him near it. Good, Papley scrounging the kick from behind.
Well, it's been a great start to this match, Brownie. Both sides showing plenty, a few mistakes here and there, but see, the pressure is right on. It's like a final.
Well, it's got all the hallmarks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good pressure, as you said, good inside 50s. Ball's put on.
Oh, sets his teammate up for a fail.
That's the pressure. We're just talking about their Hutto. So this is like a finals game, as you said. So he makes some mental mistakes, as a young player in Fletcher did just then, even though he played in the grand final last year. Just need to keep going forward, keep taking territory out of your defensive 50.
They do have quite a host of young players still. Marty with the palm. Torko, hand off to Danaher. And now Berry puts the head down. Still kicked it to a 50-50 situation. Smith fights a pretty good fight against Rampy at rather different stages of their career. Dane Rampy game 245 today.
As you mentioned, Arnos, for Brisbane, 7 players under 50 games today. So they've been able to blood a few this season because of the injury list early in the year.
And haven't they got some bonuses out of that? McCluggey's clearing kick. Blakey, Archie in attendance. Just pops it wide effectively. But you're...
Will Ashcroft just needs to tighten up a little bit on Errol Gould. He's getting way too many touches.
Oh, he's listening to you, Jared.
Good.
It wasn't a meaningful one though, was it? And a little mini win for Ashcroft. Squeezes it forward. Vulnerable situation for the Lizard.
Should have been a free kick.
Play on is the call. Starcevic, Rayner. Almost impossible to stop when he's in beast mode. The beauty of the beast.
Well, this was just a combination of great footy, but ultimately just pure strength took over. You have a look at this Swans player, comes forward to off his man to restrict it. This one could well, no, that had to be a tunnel. That's a free kick.
How is that not a free kick?
That's a shocking call from the umpire. But then it comes to another collision, and the Swans player comes up to restrict it. You see him come off his man. Here it is, but Rayner just goes straight through the tackle. Magnificent stuff.
So we talked about during the week, great start by Rayner. He's had 2 important intercepts. Great finish there. He's actually been in reasonable form the last few weeks.
Yeah, he's coming, isn't he?
It is. He's coming really the right time. He's an impact player for Brisbane. But yes, should have been a free kick for tunnelling. We've been big week talking about dangerous tackles. Well, that's as dangerous action as you'll get. Lucky they're okay.
Yeah. Danaher had to take it away by Zorko. It was a step ahead. Rain at this time is contained but not stopped. Handball forward again from Zorko. Like lightning. Quick kick from McLean. Was an absolute beauty. And Eric Hipwood didn't have to do much. And he's done enough. And Hugh McCluggage with a devastating bit of delivery into the front 50. And that is such an important part of our game, Brownie, if you can get it right.
It is. We've spoken about often at the Gabba, the importance of centre bounce. It's not the longest ground. Obviously, you're going into a 6-6-6, beautiful delivery. It's great conditions up here.
Because I don't think I've seen the ball move so sharply from Brisbane this season. This is them at their best.
19 goals in his last 8 games. Eric Hipwood, a 6 against the Dogs, a 5 against Port, and in between all of that, a few wonkies.
2 bad kicks there, the last 2 from set shots from Eric Hipwood and Joe Danaher.
And we know obviously the win's a factor, but
Not on that one.
not on that one.
Lockie Neal being well held at the moment by Luke Parker.
Carton prevailing. McInerney's with his fist. And there's Ashcroft again, just taking the territory. Cameron, lightning hands. Bailey trying to knock it towards Rayner. And Roberts in a situation where you could almost feel it before it came. Thundering tackle from Rayner, with or without the ball. His presence being felt.
Very impactful start from Cam Rayner. Fantastic start.
Grundy sticking back, grabbing it out of the ruck. And there's a wild boot from Goulden. Goes unchecked. Cluggage first. And Jordan eventually, it's Ashcroft. Comes up with the short ball handling to help the kick to match.
Errol Gould needs to tighten up on Ashcroft forward of the centre because he's doing some damage.
Well, Brisbane's been able to establish their game style early on, so that's a win for them. Obviously, their territory 10-5, forward half territory. It's important. So Sydney just need to maybe get some control. Good mark there by McLean.
Nice turnaround, Jared. I like it. Pop kick over the top to Hayward. Now beyond the wing to half forward. Tapley from the side. Joyce steadfast. Here's Grundy and McInerney came in a rush. It was high. Advantage. Tapley needed no invitation. And Robbie Fox has popped up at half forward to take the mark. So we are playing that defensive role.
Yeah.
And if you can hit the scoreboard. Oh, that's not what Warner was expecting. He is as optimistic as anyone that he can break any tackle, but he was up against that too.
And everybody's waiting for him to try the tackle, so going to have to be even more cautious with it.
Nicely placed ball for Bailey. He's going to get to half forward again. You can see the run coming from behind. Rayner though goes the probing kick to Danaher.
Oh, that ball movement's absolutely superb. They're winning it back with their pressure, and they are going from end to end and setting up Big Joe and Eric Hipwood.
Impressive on Lynchy's side of the ground too. Lynchy, they're whizzing past throughout there, the Lions players.
Absolutely. I think at quarter time there'll be a lot of discussion around Dane Zorko and how much attention you put into him. Already had 9 disposals, and this will be his second score involvement, but just really setting up the Lions well with good ball movement quickly.
Camera's ready. Behind Joe Danaher. His 4th shot at goal, and his 3rd. Has hit the target. Brisbane Lions make an early statement. They are 4-1-25, leading the Sydney Swans at 1-2-8. And once again, Brownie, Sydney Swans in first quarters are struggling, and the home team are in exhilarating form.
The great leadership there, Hutto. So Zorko was onto it. He was able to crowd the turnover there with a free kick, and they just kept the ball moving. So just a little bit of a problem for Sydney the last few weeks. It's just they're letting the ball out of their forward 50, not being able to pressure up the lines. They're getting their game going.
So Brisbane are red hot. Sydney Swans, given their clear number 1 team in the competition, they're ranked equal 8th for first quarters. 1-8, drawn 1, lost 8. They finally won a first quarter last week, but only by 2 points against North. It's perplexing to know why they struggle so much at the start of games, but it's been a lot of how good Brisbane so far. And forward again through McInerney. Reading it well was Cameron. Cunningham not giving an inch. McCluggage and Goulden. Win to the Swans. Lloyd aggressive with the hands. Parker the reaction he needed. Roberts. Tapley. Well through 2, but there's always another line coming at you.
Pressure's outstanding by Brisbane. 190 to 182. You feel like the differential's greater than that.
Yeah.
But Brisbane have come to play, and they needed to. They're just not allowing Sydney free at all.
And every tackle is being cheered on by this home crowd. Excitement is continuing to build. Clearing kick from Roberts. Rain helping it there. Fox back to Lloyd. Waiting till he can see something, but McLean was at a disadvantage. Joyce wins the free.
Hardy just limped from the ground after that collision with Brain. Hurt his knee, left knee, limped straight off in the hands of the medical staff now.
Thank you, Lynchy. Here's Zorko.
Having an amazing season is the great Zorko.
Zorko up to 10 disposals. See the injury there for Amati.
We got on
really
that one.
wide and on the breeze and bounces just inside the chalk. Bit of a jump ball there, and it's not bad.
Good battle between Oscar McInerney and Brodie Grundy. McInerney's actually had a pretty good record against Grundy previously in his Collingwood days.
So tight, isn't it? Both in the ruck contest and then underneath.
This is where you've got to get hold of Lockie Neal. He's only had 4 touches, but 3 of them are clearances.
Williams smothered. Derry into action to Dunkley with a reflex handle. Great spin from Wilmer. Tremendous awareness of what was around him. Less than a centre half forward. They come in a rush. Both teams. Blakey with the first impact and then the high contact on Bailey.
That's a great example there, just avoiding the intercept marks. So Brisbane competing well early. Only 3 intercept marks to Sydney. Again, Blakey was spoiled.
And goal 2 last week. Goals the previous 2 matches against Adelaide and Melbourne. Zach Bailey.
He just went in lower and harder than anyone else. Dragged it in.
Hasn't kicked more than 2 goals in a game this year. Plays that a little wedge into the pocket.
It was a tunnel too. Well, he had a smaller man against a tall man, and it looked awfully like a tunnel, Brownie.
It's big hits early in the game, isn't it? Just watch Jared Berry.
Used his leg up to his head. He's lucky not to be penalised for that.
Charlie Cameron is in the ruck.
An unrealistic attempt.
Totally.
This is going to be one of the great ruck duels of the season. Cameron and Grundy, two old ruck warriors.
He won it.
Well, he didn't lose
Utilised it. Yeah, it's just a push out with the leg, Brownie, that particular one, and clearly a free kick.
Well, he hasn't had the season he would have liked in terms of goals, Charlie Cameron, but now he can say he was a ruckman as well.
He doesn't have to, as long as he has a fantastic finish.
He's had his share of luck, that's for sure. Berry with a give to Cameron. Back to Bailey. The quickest of U-turns to still send it forward, Blakey. Had that one covered.
Positive for me with Brisbane is Cam Rayner and Zach Bailey have both been involved early. So they're the two X-factor type players. Can have a big impact in short periods.
Ashcroft. Stay poised. They can't get it out of there at the moment, the Swans. Another re-entry from Bailey. Strong defence though from McCarthy. And through the goal square in Campbell. Buckley sensed that an opportunity there. Fox good enough though. Comes away. Is there enough on the kick? There is. Again to Hayward. Had the hankering to handball to the inside. Instead to the out to Jordan. And they get to half forward. You can see the spacing ahead.
See the spares as well.
Yeah, exactly. So not enough to tempt. Happy to get it in there quickly. A more considered approach to Fox. And Campbell's a long kick. He's ignored. So Fox instead just sets it up in hope. It's a very deep kick and no room at all for the Swans forwards to come forward and jump.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me, that kick, when you've got Harris Andrews. You're just bombing it up.
Yeah, he was able to free himself up as well.
Yeah.
Harris Andrews, he's a master at doing that.
Margin is 16. Berry. Just rips it out of the air.
It's a great battle, this. There's good battles all over the ground here.
That's a bit strong for Parker. And that could have been it. Another charge forward. Instead, it's Florent sending the ball in the direction of McDonald. Then he only had momentary access, and that is gone. Like the ball with the wind. Long kick, Rayner to centre half forward. Malik can put the arm up. It helped, but it's only slowed them down. Hipwood didn't look good. It's okay, though. They can still flick it around. Lockie Neal's turn to play his part. And he gets the angles not too far off, but small miss becomes big on the distance and it bounces into the post.
Well, it's a game of inches, Brownie, and Logan McDonald, he's been in the right spot 3 times and just grasped 3 opportunities for contested marks. It's an area he's got to get better at if he's going to become the player that the Swans hope he can be.
Yeah, no question. Well done to Dane Zorko as well, Jared, wasn't he? To put himself in the firing line there in front of Logan McDonald. Great courage after an early knock.
15 minutes without a Swans clearance.
They just can't get any speed into the game, Sydney, whatsoever. So when they build up by uncontested marks, that's Brisbane's friend. They can set up behind the ball, and Brisbane have been able to dominate territory. 16-8 inside 50s, which is Brisbane's game.
My coaching downstairs today, just for a change, up no particular reason according to the Swans camp. It's not that Dean Cox said as part of any agreement going forward, but just I need a bit of space, John.
Mischievous from you, hello.
Maybe he's just having a crack up there.
It's disappointing because it's great vision, isn't it, when they start arguing with each other during games.
I'm looking forward to Coxie now, just blasting a few. He's publicly turned down the invitation to take part in the West Coast Eagles coaching process. Grundy, he's going to ruck and rove himself.
That's their first clearance, as you noted, hello.
Yeah. For over 15 minutes, Wilmot feeds it back. Starcevic, they're going to get busy again here. The Swans defence, there's only so much they can stave off. And Zach Bailey takes the mark on their 17th entry compared to 8 for the Swans. They're lining up for goal number 5.
Yeah, that's right, Hutto. And that's Brisbane's game. So they're number 1 time in forward half team, the competition. So they love the forward 50 stoppages. They're able to, it allows them to set up behind the ball, set up defensively, and get Harris Andrews into the correct position. Big kick here by Bailey's had a good start.
Had a big game last time these sides met. He had 26 disposals, kicked 2 goals, 3, picked up a Brownlow vote. What a way to finish off a dominant quarter at the Gabba. All the Brisbane Lions. This gives us plenty to think about in season 2024. If they get a double chance, they are going to be a serious contender. Roll off the Swans though. It's a 22-point margin at quarter time. We know what the Swans can do in the last 3 quarters.
All right, folks, there we are. Quarter time here at the Gabba, and it is the Lions. They are in full control of this game at the moment. 5-1-31 to Sydney Swans 1-3-9. Sydney can't quite get that run through the ground with their connection of handballs because the Lions are there. Their pressure is up around the 200. And they're doing everything to stop Sydney, which is doing, I tell you what, Brisbane Lions, they're finding their targets inside 50. Joey Danaher, who started off like a firecracker, has got 3 goals. I tell you what, if the Swans are going to have any chance today, they need to make sure they put someone on Danaher to do the job because he's come out firing. And when he's on fire, tell you what, he's hard to stop for the rest of the game. Let's go and have a little bit of a look at some of the stats here. Let's go and have a look at some of the players' stats and we'll see who the leading possession getter is. Of course, Dane Zorko there. He's having a nice game this week. He's had 10 touches, 8 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 marks, 1 tackle. He's doing very well. Will Ashcroft, he's on 8. Cam Rayner, not too bad. He looks alive as well with 7 disposals, 3 kicks, 4 handballs, a couple of marks, a couple of tackles there. Goulden for the Swans, he's had 7 with Fox, Berry, Joyce, Danaher and Bailey are the next best on 6. Lockie Neal, a quiet quarter from him. We will wait until he starts to get going. He'll be another dangerous person there for the Brisbane Lions that the Sydney Swans have to capitalise on. We get down there. Nick Blakey, just a 5 for him. Taylor Adams, he's had a soft start there, just a 4, not getting much of the ball. Nor is Chad Warner with 3 for the Swans. A few of the big guns. Luke Parker with just a 3. And, of course, Isaac Heaney, who wasn't even in the game, one of the Sydney Swans' big guns. There's a few of their stars they need to lift if the Swans are going to get back in this at all. So he said, Venora, how you going? First quarter or second? That was the first quarter. Second quarter will start in just a few moments' time. So there are the stats for your players there. I said the big guns for Sydney, they're all quiet at the moment because of the pressure that the Brisbane Lions are putting on. It's got like a finals feel to this game. Of course, Sydney are the league ladders. They got 3 games clear in Brisbane. We just have a look over here. Brisbane, this is the live ladder. So if Brisbane end up winning this game, they will jump up into second. So it's technically 1v2 if Brisbane win this game today. Let me get back to the goal scorers. Joey Danaher, he is on fire. He started on fire. Ryan, how you going, Squire? Hope you had a nice walk there. I was over at your live there just for a little while ago. Good stuff, mate, good stuff. Joey Danaher, first goal scorer of the game. He's on fire. He's kicking straight. 6 disposals. He's had 4 kicks and he scored on every occasion. 3 goals, 1. And he only just missed as it faded. He's had a couple of handballs, a couple of marks. He's had a hit out and a clearance also. Chad Warner is the goal scorer there for the Swannies. The only goal scorer. Cam Rayner and Zach Bailey also doing well. Hey, John Blue. John, how you going, Squire? How you going? Happy Saturday. I think it's still Saturday for you. Or is it Friday night? No, it should be Saturday. One of those two. Welcome in. But there is the goal scorers. Joey Danaher, I tell you what, if the Swans are going to have any chance in this game, they do need to stop him. I think the game might settle down a little bit in this second quarter. The Swans need to just hang on to the ball a little bit more. They're struggling to find their way up forward as well, finding their targets. Just Joey Danaher is on top of the fantasy points there if you're tracking those. Dane Zorko 42-37, Rayner 35, Bailey. There we go. We'll have a look at how long we got left. We've got about a minute left. Just a couple of the quick stats there, team stats. Lions in control of the disposals, 94-71. They've been the dominant team. 17 inside 50s to 8, so they're certainly playing a fair bit of their time down forward are the Lions. There you go. Disposal efficiency. Sydney are pretty high there. Brisbane a little bit low, which is a little bit strange to see. Would have thought it was the other way around, but definitely inside 50 efficiency. Well on top there, the Lions. Free kick, 6-3. The stoppages, pretty even there. The clearances, 9-3. 9-7, Lions way. 3-2, also the Lions way. Contested possession. We go, the Lions doing all the work there. 36-27. 59 to the uncontested possessions, 45, and the turnovers, the Swans a few more there due to the big pressure from the Lions. I mean, just take that back up because they are about to get this game back underway. Thanks, John, for coming in, Ryan. I'm good after walking my neighbour's dog. I saw the little dog, it was a little cutie. Yeah, Addy G was in there before. Good on you, Addy G. F18. Chris Brown's in the house. Diana, thanks for coming in. Thumbs up. Thanks for the thumbs up, John. Appreciate that. All right, folks, we're back to the second quarter. Let's get this game going.
And especially in their back half, they've made some bad kicking errors.
Just as Sydney have been a poor starting team, Brisbane have been an outstanding one, and that's played out again. Now the response begins. Grundy shoveled it forward, as you saw. Papley was coming, but never was really a player in that phase. As the handball from Andrews buys a little bit of time. That's expired now because the Swans take possession. And I wonder what their mode will be. Will it be a bit of possession for a little bit? Try and work around the ring. Cunningham. All the way back to Red. Trying to draw perhaps a few of the lines out here. Moves up on that, just gets it in long. Relatively even numbers at the contest in the air. McLean with the first, McDonald with the second. Neil knowing just how close Papley was, sweating on him.
It's unusual for Sydney to play that style, but you feel it's what they need at the moment, Hutto. A bit of control, get some test marks, spend some time in your forward half.
You've got to take the heat out of it because the Lions have got the furnace on.
Adams with the snappy hands down to Hayward. Amadi from an unusual position did so well. Almost had his back turned to the footy, but at the right moment, he kept his eyes on it, and Joyce wasn't able to apprehend him.
Yeah, good effort there. I think 3 goals in the last 4 weeks, Amadi, so hasn't had a big impact on the scoreboard after that 9 goals a few weeks ago.
That will get things started, though. He wraps that around for a goal.
Well, it's so important to win those forward 50 clearances. It pushed out so easily. I mean, you end up with a mismatch like Amadi on Zorko. And that's just a really potent setup for a forward line.
Yeah, spent some time down there, Jerry. They were able to get some uncontested marks, get a stoppage. Just haven't had enough stoppages down there and spend time. To get a good win ahead of the ball by Amadi.
Since that 9-goal bag in round 14, 0-1, 0-2. He's on the board today. Swans get the all-important first of the second. Argent back to 60. Grundy starting really close to the inner ring. McInerney with a bit of a run-up. Grabbed cleverly by Grundy. He's done that a couple of times, forcing it forward. Hayward was ready and waiting. Now the delivery was a tempered kick. It was aimed at McLean coming out, with Bailey backing back.
Interesting. They've got Errol Goulden starting at half forward now on Dane Zorko.
Hard run from Lyman. Takes the ball. Back to Joyce. Delicate operation with that. Misfire. Give them a couple of looks. Warner sends it forward to Cunningham. The handballs are chained up. Goulden to the outside. Now it's Lloyd's kick to the square. 2-on-1 against Amadi. Jumps a bit underneath the footy. Fights on. Ground level battle 1. Adams. Splashes it through for a second.
Well, Brandon, there are some kicks that I reckon Darragh Joyce shouldn't take, and this one into the middle of the ground was one. It was a really good turnover. It's squared it up for a couple from the Swans in the first quarter. But Joel Amani's actually becoming a bit of a presence. There's the turnover kick. And then the release handball. And you just look at the big bloke. He's continuously getting a mismatch. Even against two there. He makes the contest, brings the ball to ground, which is all it's about.
A good start around the clearance as well. Good start by Grundy. So 3 zip this quarter. Both centre bounce at 1 Sydney. So that's important. That's helping them establish some forward half territory.
Taylor Adams, big contribution on the scoreboard there. They are precious in the early stages of the second. He allows pass for Heaney to come through. Blakey.
Kick.
Lovely shape kick, got it moving quickly again to Gordon. As you could see, what we all saw there, again, great exposure to that kick into the 50. It makes the world of difference in McLean on the end of it.
Now, it's all very much stoppage-based, Brownie. The Swans on top, as you said early in the piece, and they're getting shots at goal from it.
Yeah, and kicking the ball well too. Well done by Gordon. Got his hands, started that centre bounce, got his hands on it.
19-15 for the season for Hayden McLean. He kicks 3 today. It'll be a career high total, and he's on his way. Career high for the season I'm referring to. That's his 20th goal. He kicked 21 last year, and that's a very swift response, isn't it, for the Swans? They've kicked 3 goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Over to the Lions midfielders now, Jared. Can they hold that pressure? They had great pressure in the first quarter. They dominated the territory.
Yep.
But now Sydney, we know they're going to come at you at some stage.
Well, they haven't fumbled the ball once this quarter, the Swans, because the pressure hasn't been there. They've won it from stoppages, and they've just hit targets. And I've enjoyed watching this bloke grow and mature as a player. He's a hard worker. He can go into the ruck. He's one of those rare beasts these days, the forward ruckman, and he's just continuing to grow. A Dermot Brereton protege,
yes.
And he's really improving.
He's kicked multiple goals in 3 of the last 4 games. Finally, Brisbane get it out of the middle through Dunkley. Batted back to Loman. Knew there was too much pressure in his face. Speaking of pressure, Neil was copping it back to Loman. They find a way through. Gee, the Swans have upped the intensity in this second term. McInerney to the square. Was a touch. Yes, it was.
Spot on, Arrow. They're up the intensity, Sydney. It's noticeable here now. They're starting with their midfielders. They get back. They force it, or not a turnover, but force huge amount of pressure.
8 goals scored to what is the right of screen, only 1 to the other.
Legged him. Got him on the leg. The tackle dropped down. Probably a bit lucky there. The Swans were about to lose the ball.
Handball to Haywood and then back to Flora. So this is where they get into uncontested possession mode. Can they find one of their guns just to change it up? Not yet, Rampy.
Well, it's a pretty hard zone to pierce. They've set it up all season pretty well since their emergence from their slumber, if you like, the Lions.
Into Fox. Pensive about where to head next. Takes the short. It's a really careful, prolonged build-up. And now Adams darts and heads forward towards the mouth of goal, but Brisbane at the fillers. And one of them was Rain.
Only taken 14 uncontested marks this quarter, Sydney. More than they had in their first quarter.
They'd be disappointed with that kick inside the forward 50 though, Brownie. It was to no one in effect. And the build-up just goes to waste.
Fletcher with the exit. Oh, Pluggage caught in the crush. Nice work from Fox, and Adams knowing exactly where Cunningham was. Summed it up well. Eyes to the inside to Goulden. Now they have it in one of their guns. Forwards are ready. Forward march. Out comes McDonald. When Eric Goulden gets the footy, the eyes just light up ahead, Brownie. You wouldn't mind making a comeback and playing at a forward half with Errol.
Oh, yes. Your eyes would be like dinner plates, wouldn't they? The alarm bells will be ringing in the Brisbane Lions coaching box at the moment, and I think they'd be flashing around Errol Goulden's name. As we know, he's been in the centre bounce there. He's just dominant at the moment this quarter. He's had 5 disposals already.
Kicked 3 goals on debut against Brisbane back in 2021. Did Logan McDonald. He burst onto the scene with Errol Goulden. That's like a kick of flat footy the way it was touched as it comes away from Fletcher. Not ideal for Logan McDonald. There's a towering mark from Archie. And suddenly, Sydney are on the back foot. You can tell their numbers kind of swoop back. And
Yeah, nothing more to go to.
yeah. So Brisbane just bought a bit of time. An untimely stumble from Brain, and he's able to recover. To Fletcher, who showed a lot of it to Lloyd. In the end, though, fell into the arms of Hipwood. Wrong-sided, that didn't matter. Relatively good kick from McCluggage. He was wary of taking possession because of the tackle. Went a second time, drew more pressure, but still they stay ahead of the game. Danaher with 3 in the first quarter. Hasn't had a look in the second. Well done, McCartan. To Rampy, looking to find a friend desperately there, Brownie.
It's more like the Bloods, Hunter. We didn't see that in the first quarter, did we? The Bloods pressure, the famous Bloods pressure. They're really buying into that now as a team. They're a lot more connected. Sydney, great effort there by them to get back because Brisbane were out.
Little untidy there. Harry Cunningham, as we said, in game number 200.
Well, Chris Fagan would never have seen that number for associated with his team.
No.
It's only a 10-minute patch, and the Swans have been playing uncontested footy when they've got it, so that reduces the opportunity to apply pressure. But
Well, in some ways, Jared and Brownie, they've had these quarters through the year, particularly in the first half of the year.
yeah,
Brisbane certainly have. Yeah, can they control the momentum when the other team has it? That's an issue. They've got to fix up.
Still up for grabs. Archie to Fletcher. Realised he could get closer. Did enough to get through too. It's a sky ball. It's a bit of space junk, as Dern calls it, out on the full.
The other thing the Swans are doing since the quarter time break, they're making Dane Zorko much more accountable. From the 4 centre bounces, he's had matchups on Taylor Adams, Errol Goulden, and the last 2 with Chad Warner. So Warner's staying forward, and he knows the risk if he leaves him alone.
Rampy strikes it. There's a bit going on there with a bit of a push and the shove.
Hayward's crook, he's dropped the cork here an ankle.
Did well below the knees, given that, Jared, to get it through and out to Heaney and then towards Corbin.
Yeah, left ankle it is for Hayward, just in that marking contest, limping away now with the physio.
Doesn't look good, does it?
He's grabbing his Achilles. He might have got a boot down the back of that. We'll know more when he gets off and gets some treatment.
And he forces it forward for Heaney, and then Campbell latches on. Sends the Swans deep again. Andrews with a none too delicate shove. That's a clean.
Chad Warner was at the base. He had to drop that. Chad Warner would have been off the Olympics.
Who's winning the aerial battle? Brownie?
I think Brisbane are, but
Joyce put under all sorts of heat. Papley there to pounce. McDonald gets it tumbling towards goal.
So the Swans have fought back that. And Tom McCart was able to take a couple of innocent marks in the quarter. There's the Hayward injury. Steps with his left foot on McLean's ankle as well.
The Lions tread carefully this time on the way out. Rico trying to duck behind the back, but instead he goes by boot out to Brain over his head.
Really impressed with Sydney early in this quarter. So they've been able to get the right matchups, as Lynchy alluded to. Putting now dangerous half forward, so Dane Zorko has to stay accountable. He was dominant in the first quarter. Starting to get some more control in the game, and more importantly, their pressure's gone through the roof, which we just didn't see enough of in the first quarter.
Brisbane by 4. Nothing decisive from the hit. Bailey did what he could. With luck on his side to Berry. 3 routes back and then across, but ill-directed. Roberts, extra sun cream from him today. Bit foreign to plenty of us around the country at this time of the year. Sun shining brightly, but the wind's also a factor. And the further the kick goes, the more difficult it is to negotiate. We've seen a few flat the test so far today.
It is hot out here. No question about Lynchy. You'll have the sunscreen on over there, Lynchy. And Jimmy Stines tried to wear a hat one day. The opposition players kept ripping it off here at the Gabba.
Lindsay just bronzing up further as we've got the throw in on the 50. And that might be too severe from Grundy. That will be out of bounds on the fall. So Rayner calls it a little too severely. It swings back, but surely that was out of bounds on the full as well.
Yeah, just over, and a good angle on that.
So Grundy gets to just chip it further afield to Lloyd. Jake Lloyd, another of the Swans veterans, game 241. Plenty of experience to go with their young and emerging and superstar talent. Right age to blossom. Speaking of which, Isaac Heaney just dismisses young Ashcroft, kicks to half forward. Good defence that time. Nice teamwork back there from the Lions.
You just see this missed tackle. So this is the difference in the quarter for both teams. Sydney's pressure's gone through the roof, and Brisbane just haven't been able to establish enough pressure on this very dangerous Sydney team, especially when they're moving the ball.
Work continues on Will Hayward. The footy continues at half forward. Papley creating opportunities, half chances perhaps for Will.
That's the challenge there. So Dane Zorko, he's trying to play behind the contest, but Papley and Warner are both there. So what does he do? He wants to be used as a set-up kicker, but he has to be man accountable.
I think they need a big lift from the big O around these stoppages too. Grundy's having a really impressive and influential quarter.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jared. Yeah, I thought he had a good first quarter, Big O, and this is an important part of the game for Brisbane. They need Big O to be able to compete hard. Grundy's been in fantastic form, as Big Oscar.
As poor as the Swans have been in opening quarters, have won 12, 14 and 13 of the other three quarters. So you can't count them out. We've seen that early in the term. McCluggage sends it Hipwood's way. Brisbane goals so far through a half a quarter. That's very wide again to the extreme, and Henry Smith can't reel it in before it floats out.
Yeah, that's the challenge of a younger player coming into the team. He was one out against Nick Blake. He's obviously taller than him, but when you just subconsciously as a young player, you don't have the confidence to go there.
In the middle of it, Florent with so much oil, he's dragging over. And he's cooked. And here McCluggage gets the accolades from his teammates.
Well, the Lizards had an amazing season, as we all know, headed to another All-Australian Guernsey, you would think. But his kicks, some of these kicks, he's just got to, you've got to take the critical one, you've got to hit the target. This will be 2 shots at goal. There's only millimetres away from being perfect, but it's
marketable
costly
too, wasn't it, really? It was both perhaps contributing.
Yep.
Now McCluggage. Provides a bit of steal there, runs in, puts it through. Hasn't always been his strong suit, but he stares that down and gives the Lions their first taste of excitement in the second term.
Well, that one was self-inflicted by the Swans. You can apportion your blame whichever way you like, and it's probably a 50-50, but they're just bad turnovers, full stop. And they've taken the ascendancy back this quarter, Brownie, and you give away a couple like that, it really does hurt you.
This is a problem for Sydney at the moment. Just coming out of defensive half, they do make some turnovers, and they've got a few culprits there. Goulden's been in amongst them, but Nick Blakey's actually one of the big culprits. Actually, look at Ollie Florent, guys that are actually really good field kicks. Nick Blakey's 6th most in the AFL for defensive half cough-ups. So we know they go for their kicks, but that's just a blatant unforced error.
So the Lions steady and get it out of the middle. Danaher starting the opening turn. Back up roll in the ruck. High with Smith, made the contest. Roberts, not the safety yet. Cunningham made it. Malikan's problem. Gee, it's the quickest ball up call I think I've ever seen.
I agree.
Just see there on screen, Corey Warner's warming up, and that'd be because Dane Rampy walked down the race with the doctor. Didn't seem in any rush and seemed pretty much down in the dumps. So we'll give you an update shortly on that, but the sub for Sydney is warming up.
Well, we know how pure they've been in terms of availability all season, but Justin McInerney and Rowbottom not playing today. Rowbottom, though, I think just cautious with, but McInerney a long-term injury, so it happens in a long season. It's part of the challenge. Part of this great season we're having, so unpredictable. Look at the fight in both there for the ball. Neither would give an inch, Fletcher or Lloyd.
You bring Rowbottom's got a crack in that cheekbone. Maybe a week or two.
Ball just bounces around a little.
So it looks like the signals from the Swans bench is that Dane Rampy is out of the game. So Corey Warner has been on the phone and chatting to the coach, so he should be on shortly.
But it goes the wrong way. In fact, it's play on. Hung up for a long time. McCartan had time to have a quick look, and he saw enough of his teammates ahead to kick it safely and soundly. Parker suddenly is at the wing and disorientated there, McDonald. Andrews saw it first. Back to Joyce. No chances this time from Dara. Blasts away. Lions well represented. And once it got through McLean's fingertips, Danaher was ready to go. Oh, Smith could have kicked his first goal. He shared it to try and make sure of it with Barry, who's missed.
He wanted to go one more, didn't he? Charlie Cameron was waiting for that. But good play there by Smith, the young fella. First touch in footy. And we get dish off the handball. He's off the mark, Jared.
He's off the mark, yeah.
Something I didn't experience in my first game.
Well ahead of you, Brownie, at this stage.
Blakey, lovely kick that time.
Such an Indian arm wrestle this game. Just little mistakes, little bits of brilliance make a big difference. There's another mistake with a short kick.
Yeah, from Warner. Just, again, maybe just a bit too cute. Easy to say from here. When they come off, they look spectacular, and he's provided us with so many great moments already this year. As the chat, and now he's got his brother out there, Corey, or he will shortly.
Oh, desperate there.
Rayner up to meet it. Dealt with Jordan, and then he put one high from McLean.
He's been sensational, that Cameron.
Here's Danaher sweeping around, getting it deep. Archie, the son, the biggest factor. Up goes Malikan. Florence, knowing exactly where the boundary is, keeps it in anyway. That is an interesting line out of defence. There's an open invitation. And Ashcroft more than happy. Cameron darting around about 45 metres ahead. There's Hipwood. McCartan try and watch him, but they... Oh, Smith reaching up. McLean jolts it forward. Fox. Everyone having to wait for the bounce. Agonising as it was, and the hands are chained up this time. Adams tries to put some length. It wasn't a pure connection. Papley and Starcevic. Oh, Papley's gone down. He's the latest to add to the casualty list. It doesn't look too serious, but enough to get some treatment, I suspect. There's Corey Warner. There's Chat. To the interior to Roberts. Loads up on the left. Good couple of wrestles going on with Joyce.
Yeah, that's a really good one-on-one victory by Joyce.
Yeah, he just needs Marty needs to establish body contact earlier there, or run and jump.
Let's kick out wide. The young Henry Smith getting extra applause from the Lions fans, welcoming him to senior football.
Yeah, he has played ruck in the reserves, but Danaher continuing on as the backup ruckman when McInerney has a rest. So just trying to ease Smith in, just giving him his one role, plays a genuine key forward.
Gee, that does look worrying now, doesn't it, with Papley? So
can't wait there.
He can't put any weight on it. And really, the second, he's in serious pain.
Players gone down with knocks or rolled ankles today.
It's been a pretty high pressure game.
McInerney did well, wasn't letting anyone near the footy. Unfortunately, Ashcroft turned it over by hands, and it's heading Sydney's way. Goulden just pressed pause for a moment to the inside to McLean. I think it was actually designed for this man. Lloyd's got it now. He delivers out wide, and the luxury got a bit of space to lead into away from Harris Andrews for Logan McDonald.
Well, that time it was a turnover by the Brisbane Lions. They've been really good for most of the afternoon in that area of Brisbane, but Swans getting almost all their goals from stoppage victories, but this one should be a goal from a turnover.
Well, he's had some challenges obviously in the last few weeks, but he did kick 4-2 against North after missing those late shots in the losses against Fremantle and the Saints. Logan McDonald to cut the margin, back to inside a kick. And he's done it.
Well done there to Logan. Fantastic. Great quarter by Gould, no, Jared.
Yeah,
that's been the problem. He's had 5 kicks at 100%. They've been able to get back into the corridor this quarter, which we didn't see enough of from Sydney in the first quarter. Look at that, just a lethal kick in there, centimetre perfect out the other side. It's a forward's dream when you can get it back into the corridor like that.
But you can see why sometimes there's turnovers. That missed the Lions' hands by centimetres, and that kick was a really courageous kick because the gorilla on his shoulders would have been giving him all sorts of advice.
Both teams 4 goals, 1 from set shots.
Yeah, there would have been plenty of relief there. When that one came off the boot well for McDonald. And he needed that one for his confidence.
And that's a watch, isn't it? Dane Rampion game 2:45. Subbed out. Corey Warner gets his opportunity. His 3rd game for the season.
There's 2 players now on the back row there, Lynchy. But they might be trying to stay out of the sun, but Papley's injured as well.
You can see there the ice is going on to the lower calf. So he'd be looking at a minimum 3, you'd think.
Yeah, September will feel quite a way away, won't it, for the Swans? They're so far clear at the top of the ladder. They've got to maintain their form, they've got to manage their players, and I guess more than anything, Jerry, they've got to hopefully avoid injury.
Avoid injury early. Sometimes it reverts to the mean, and they've had such a fantastic run so far this season that they'll be hoping the bad luck doesn't come late in the year.
McInerney is a big out for them. He's such a versatile player.
Got to make sure you keep winning too, I know that's the main issue. Draw's not that easy coming up. The Dogs in great form, so this is a vital 4 points for both teams.
Jordan high again to the square. Wilmot took it, had a look to the inside, and when he looked out, there wasn't much for him. Parker to put them in front. Oh, and he has! Luke Parker wants to be part of this Swans team. Don't forget Luke.
Well, they needed something spectacular, Brownie, and that's what they got. There was another drop mark. I mean, they're the ones that he's got to learn. If he can do some work with him one-on-one, Big Joel Amoni, I think he could do with it, Brownie. He had perfect position, and then it fell to the miracle man, Luke Parker, who came onto the scene at halftime last week and just re-announced himself. And that is a great goal from a great player for the Swans.
That's what he's capable of, Luke Parker.
Yep.
That'll be a handy addition to Swans 4-9. They never get territory this quarter, Jared. They've won centre bounce, 12 inside 50s to the Lions, 9, and from that they've kicked 5 goals, 1. So much better look to them in this second quarter than what happened in the first quarter.
And how often have we seen it this year, Brownie? 8 times they've been behind at quarter time, and by half-time or soon after half-time, they're in front.
Yeah, they're just so dynamic, aren't they? They've got so many talented players, especially with their kicking skills.
Coming on the mark. McInerney seems, just asked him, can I run forward? Yep, you can. In fact, you could have
kept going
on another 15 or 20
metres.
metres.
There's a goal on it.
Oh, there's a big grab from Grundy.
Right to his man.
How good was that by Brody Grundy? So free kick early and then just charges back to support his defence and takes a contested mark. They've had a great quarter, the Sydney Swans midfield.
That is a great mark.
Yeah, fine Ruckman's mark. Fine anyone's mark. Warren.
I think Tyler Adams has been the one that's elevated himself. He's at a game where, for a period of time, he's on Lockie Neal. There he is now, and he's won his own ball as well as kept Neal quiet.
Heaney facilitating Goulden, and now Jordan. After a slight pause, kicks inside. Just over Amani, a bit severe, and there's Leicester.
Neal just one possession, Brownie. It's a significant performance, this.
I think it works better than Parker of half forward, Jared.
Yep.
I think Parker's better utilised as a forward, and then he can go into the midfield and just play exclusively as a midfielder. I think his goal kicking's too much of a weapon to have to worry about playing on an opposition dangerous midfielder.
Yep.
That's an attribute he's always had, isn't it, with Parker? Going to be effective forward. Berry targets out wide. It's a good kick too, because it gave Archie a path forward. In pursuit was Cunningham, but he couldn't stop the ball moving to Henry Smith.
That's a great kick to the young fellow. And it's not going to be an easy shot given its blustery conditions.
Young South Australian, like all tall men, or most tall men, it takes a little while. He's had to wait 4 seasons to get his opportunity. At the age of 21, what a day to make your debut. A sellout crowd at the Gabba. All eyes on Henry Smith.
I'll only get better from there.
You might have your words ringing in his ear, Brownlee, about your debut.
Yeah, I know.
You were meant to be motivating him.
I suppose I was. I was just trying to put his mind at ease pre-game.
Cutting him.
I don't think I've seen any more difficult first-up shots at goal.
Very difficult. We won't give him quite the build-up next time. Just let him go about his business. So 90 seconds left. First half, Grundy hits it down with purpose, but McCluggage was ready and Jordan was ready for him. Both teams trying to get sorted out in the spacing around this stoppage. For the next phase, the knock forward, McInerney onto it is Florent, the handball to Roberts, watch out, beware, and he was, to Adams, to Jordan, here they go, Roberts to centre half forward, it's a high ball, Joyce's timing was sweet, the fist was outstanding, almost as good as a kick, as they used to say. Adams flings it back to Jordan, confronted by Brain, skids it forward to Parker, just a handball in hope, Fox with a straddle, gets it further forward, here comes Warner, here comes Gordon. Pure football for the Sydney Swans, weapons everywhere, and they lead by 7.
Well, the locals are filthy. They thought the ball was out of bounds, but Errol Gilman ended up in the Maestro's hands. He had a couple of people on the inside he could have delivered it to. But in the end, I think, given his dexterity, he's entitled to have a shot. There's a couple at the top of the square, but he's like a surgeon.
Great conversion. I was looking down the chalk and I want to stay impartial. That was in row 1.
Brisbane Lions consideration, the talking points for the coach at halftime. I think Errol Gould's got to be number 1.
Yeah.
Do we go to him? I know it's hard at half back there. They've obviously put him there or Warner there to keep Zorko accountable, but it's definitely an issue for him. He's had a huge second quarter and dragged them back into the game.
Yeah, 4 score involvements from his 8. He's going at 100% effectiveness.
It's a 6-goal second term. As you can see, just the one for the Lions. They've started this game on fire. They've quietened the crowd. And a rare moment to just catch our breath.
Just the numbers at disposals. The mix for Lions just haven't got near it this term in bulk quantity anyway.
A late thrust from the Lions.
It's 105 possession total to 70. It's a big disparity.
Grundy free rein at that, gave it to Warner, who knew he had to bundle it further away. Carlton's clearing kick close to the line. Corey Warner gets an opportunity and things could have gone right or wrong with that sort of kick. As it's turned out, Joe, the siren about to go. A wry smile from Joe Danaher. He's reflective of the Lions. First quarter, magnificent. The number 3, kick 3. And it was all Brisbane. But in that second term, the Sydney Swans did what they've done so often. Powered back to the lead.
Yeah, they really did come to the fore. Biggest concerns going forward, no Rampy and big question mark on Tom Papley. Lynchy.
Thanks, Jared. Cam, really strong first quarter action, but how did you read the halftime?
Yeah, I guess they just got a little bit on top in that second quarter. Kids a couple of goals, but they're a good team. We knew they were going to come, so it's just about our time for us to compose ourselves and get ready for the second half.
What do you feel the tweaks are required in the midfield? Look like they started to really get on top.
Yeah, they were, and they were getting the ball on the outside as well, which is where they can really hurt us. So we just need to make sure we can lock it down and keep it tight in there and get the ball going back our way.
All right, thanks for your time.
Cheers, mate.
A flex in the second term from the Swans. The Lions have half-time, though, to try and get things back in their favour. They've won the last 6, of course. Sydney Swans returned to the winners list last week. What a second half we have ahead. It's the Swans, the top of the ladder Swans, leading by 7.
there you go. Tell you what, not a bad game though, Chris. Not a bad game at all. Tell you what, that second quarter was just like a mirror image of the first quarter. It just flipped on its head. Of course, after the Lions kicking 5-1 in the first quarter, and the Swans won 3, it was flipped on its head. The Swans in that quarter kicked 6 goals, 1 to 1 goal, 2-2. The Lions, I tell you what, yeah, the Swans certainly lifted, but I think some of the pressure from the Lions, well, I think that disappeared a little bit in that quarter, and Sydney got their game back on their terms. Got a lot of open space, a lot of free possessions, and they hit their targets quite well up forward when they had the chance, Sydney, and they kicked pretty accurate there. 6 goals, 1. Good job. Some of their danger players come back into play, and some of the players for Brisbane got shut down, a little bit like Danaher, etc. Let's just have a little bit of a look at some of the players' stats, see where they're sitting now. Dane Zorko on 14. He had a little bit of a quiet second quarter after I think he got 10 possessions in the first quarter, so he only had the 4 touches there. 12 kicks, 2 handballs, 6 marks, 1 tackle. Errol Goulden, he's coming into his own. He's starting to have a great game there with 14 touches there for the Swans and kicking a late goal there. It's fantastic. 10 kicks, 4 handballs, 3 marks, 2 tackles, and a clearance. Robbie Fox, Taylor Adams doing their roles as well. 14 each of 2. Cam Rayner, he's not having too bad of a game there for the Lions with 12 touches. Chad Warner, he's into the game with 11. Jared Berry, 11. Will Ashcroft, 11. Hugh McCluggage. And don't forget your luggage. There we go. He's having a bit of a quiet one, isn't he, Chris? He just had the 10 possessions, normally a little bit better than that. Although he snagged a sausage roll, he's had 5 and 5. A mark, tackle, 2 clearances. Jakey Lloyd on 10. Joyce on 10. Bailey on 10. Roberts. Lukey Parker. Now, there's a player, I tell you what, if he gets let off the chain for Sydney, Brisbane better watch out. As I said, he was on absolute fire last week. I think last week was his first game back. Was that right? Or was it the week before? I think he came in about halfway through the third quarter. And, yeah, he piled them up. And I'll tell you what, I'd hate to have seen if he played a full game then. Watch out. That's exactly right. Watch out. If he gets his game going, yeah, Brisbane could be in trouble. That is for sure. And, of course, the other man, Isaac Heaney, down there, he's only had the 8 touches. He's been very quiet for Sydney's gun, just with the 3 kicks, 5 marks, 5 handballs, I should say, 1 mark, 3 tackles, 2 clearances, no score for him. Joey Danaher, as I said, Sydney Swans did well. They kept him quiet, just a 9 disposal, 6 kicks. He had, 2 kicks in that quarter. He still only got the 3 goals, 1. Had a late shot after the siren, but it was too late. Didn't make the distance anyway for Joey Danaher. And a wry smile on his face, but he needs to lift his game as well. Just the pressure of Sydney in that quarter lifted. As I said, I hope the Swans don't have too dominant third quarter. Tell you what, it's a game that can still go any which way. It's a little bit like a chess game. It's a little bit like a chess game, back and forth, back and forth. The Swans, they did better finding the open space. They had a little bit better run. Brisbane did stem that tide just a little bit of the Sydney run-on, of course, there, thank goodness, because they were looking very, very dangerous. You know, that being said, they still piled on plenty of goals there, Sydney, to get the game back pretty well even. It's 1-1 for the quarters, 1. Tell you what, the second half's going to be a ripper to watch. Going to be a ripper. Brody Grundy, he's not having too bad a game. Just with the 8 disposals, took a nice couple of intercept marks. He's had 5 kicks, 3 handballs. He's had 1 mark. And 1 mark was down in the back line for the Swans. He had 14 hitouts. He's had 5 clearances. Does his job, the big man. Does his job. I tell you what, he's one of the best in the game for ruckman, and then 2nd, 3rd, 4th efforts. I love the way he goes about it. He's always got his 2nd and 3rd efforts. Unlike probably Joey Danaher, he's good for his 1 effort. He doesn't really do much chasing and 2nd and 3rd efforts, Joey Danaher. If he misses the ball, he's got to wait till his next option. There we go. Tom Papley there just with 7. I think he had someone stepped on his foot. He went off the ground. I think he's getting a little bit of work done on him. The Swans won't want to miss him. He's one of those little rascal players that can get under players' skids and go well, but yeah, that'll certainly help Brisbane with him off the ground. We'll see if he comes back on in the third quarter. Josh Dunkley was 7. Cunningham was 7. Rampy, I think, was he the one? No, it wasn't Rampy. One of the Sydney players went off. They've already pulled their sub. I think, was it Rampy? Could have been Rampy with 6. Lockie Neal, there we go. He's having a real quiet one. 6 touches. Wow-wee. He really needs to lift. He's a little bit like Isaac Heaney. They're both having the guns for either side. They're having a real slow day. Oh, how many handballs for Joey Danaher? Let me just have a look back down. They'll head back up. Corey Warner, come on. I think he was the sub. He's come on. And, of course, the first game player, wasn't that, was that Heaney? Hang on. Let me just go back over here. Henry Smith, yeah, he had a shocker, didn't he, that kick? It just shanked off his foot out of bounds. Where we are, the player stats. Handballs, Joey Danaher. Where are you, Joey Danaher? Geez, now I've got to find him. Hang on. I'll find him when I come across to the goals because I know he's snagged a few goals. There we go, Joey Danaher. There we go. He's had 50% or 33% handballs. He's had 6 kicks, 3 handballs. Can you believe it? He's actually given off 3 handballs today. We'll try and remember that. We'll see how he goes by the end of the game. There we go. So Joey Danaher leads the way with 3 goals. He kicked them all pretty early in the game. Tell you what, if he gets the ball in his hand, he's pretty dangerous. He's kicking pretty accurate today. As I said, the time he missed, it only missed by about a metre to the right side of the goalpost. Chad Warner there, still with 1. Cam Rayner with 1. Luke Parker, the danger man for the Swans. He kicked 1. Hayden McLean with 1. Also, McDonald McCluggage, don't forget your luggage. Just the 1. Still a little bit of a quiet game there for the Lions. Errol Gordon is having a cracker of a game. He's kicked 1 also with Armity for the Swans and Taylor Adams, and of course Zach Bailey 1. Let's have a look at the AFL fantasy points. Must be working with the handball. He could be. I tell you what, there's some plays he's a little bit like Hungry. Remember Hungry from the Tigers? Just never liked a handball. It's a little bit like Joey Danaher. I'll tell you what. Errol Goulden, 61 on the fantasy points right there. If you play the game there, the fantasy. Dane Zorko, 60. Robbie Fox, 54. Joey Danaher, 54. Cam Rayner, 53 with Berry, 53. And Adams, 51. There we go. Let me have a look at a few team stats. You just have a look. What have we got? 10 minutes up until the start of the second quarter. Disposals, as I said, it probably feels like it's reasonably even across the board with everything. Mirror image the first and second quarter. No real dominance, I don't think. The first half, I think just both teams had their momentum run. 179, 165 to the Swans in the disposals, pretty even there. The kicks, 104 to 106, pretty easy there. The Swans, 61 to 73. They do like to handball a bit. Inside 50s, there we go. The Lions are 6 ahead there. 9 scoring shots for their inside 29 times. And, of course, the Swans have had 11 scoring shots for just 23 inside 50s. So they are on target. Both of them are on their average season for their inside 50s. Disposal efficiency. Have a look at the Swans, 79.3%. That's pretty high. I can't remember last seeing it so high for a team at halftime. 69 for the Lions. Inside 50, about the same for both teams. We're in 48% there. Free kicks, 9-5 to the Lions. Well, it is a home game for the Lions. Sometimes people think the home teams get the advantage of that. There was a couple of free kicks missed. I think there was a couple of tunnelling situations going on, and the umpire clearly missed them, and the whole crowd could see it. Everyone could see it, yet they just put the whistle away. As I said last night, I think the rules have changed again, but the umpires seem to be a little bit more lenient on some of that stuff, like holding the ball. They give them a little bit more time, and that tunnelling certainly should have been. That's extremely dangerous action there when they do the tunnelling on the other player. There we go, hit out 17-19, Swans. Of course, Brody Grundy's always a good ruckman there. We even saw Cameron Cameron go up for a ruck contest there. I think it was with Joey Danaher, was it? No, it was with, it might have been with Brody Grundy and Cameron. Quite strange, because Grundy's got definitely quite a few inches on him. But it was they both didn't hit the ball, so it was probably a win to the Lions in that one. Centre clearances 6-5, pretty even there. Stoppage clearances 13 apiece. Possessions, let's have a look at the contested possession. Hey, what, the game's pretty even, isn't it? 58-60. No one coming out ahead on that. Uncontested possessions 106, 115. Turnovers 31 apiece. Well, below the season's average, but I tell you what, it's a warm day up there in Brisbane. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's a great day for football. A little bit of wind happening, but one of the perfect days for football is going on. Lions by 2 in the marks, 51-49. Marks inside 50. As I said, folks, this is like a mirror image at the moment, 5-6. Sydney by 1. The contested marks, 7-5, Sydney's way. So we can see the goals, 6-3 to 7-4. Not much in it, just a 1-goal one. Defensive tackles, tell you what, pretty even, isn't it? 22-21. Tackles inside 50, 6-4. Both doing their role. 1%ers, 18-21. As I said, this game is super duper even. Super duper even. Let's have a look at so far in the polls, we've got 20 votes there. Brisbane Lion, the people in the chat there have gone 60%. They think Brisbane will win, and 40%. So that's 12 votes to the Lions and 8 votes to the Sydney Swans. We'll still go any way on this one. Host Swans don't have a too dominant third quarter. Yeah, you never know, Chris. Never know. Maybe it'll be Brisbane back again with that dominant quarter. Maybe they'll get the run on. But as you can see on the worm there, the big dominance there and the sun run the Lions had. But then it was all Sydney. They came out bang, bang, bang early in that second quarter. Of course, it was a little bit level for probably 10 minutes to that second quarter. The Lions put on a goal. They came back a little bit, stemmed that tide, and then Sydney 1-2, and they put on 3 quick goals at the end of that second quarter. It's going to be a great second half here, folks. It's going to be a great second half. As I said, it's going to be anyone's game. Anyone's game. Anyone's game. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes while I go and grab a coffee, and we'll be back for the second half here at the Gabba between the Brisbane Lions and Sydney Swans. All right, folks, and we are back. We're going to take you back to the commentators now. Players are getting into their positions. We're about 30 seconds away from the start of the second half. Good luck, teams. Let's have a great game.
All right, thanks for your time.
Chance to test, isn't it? Thank you, Lynchy. John Longmire confirming there, Jonathan Brown and Jared Healy, that they are 3 men out for the second half in hot conditions. Now, ladder position is not an issue for the Sydney Swans, but this just shows how important this game is for Brisbane, Jared and Brownie. If they win, they jump up to either second or third, depending on Carlton. I think the Blues would beat North today, but so they'll be second or third. It would be a real chance for a double chance, but if they lose, they are right back with the rest of the pack.
Well, they're right. They're well and truly set up here, Brisbane. This will be an amazing victory by the Swans. They've got a 7-point lead at half-time. If they can prevail, it's going to be about rotating players in the positions they are not normally proficient at. You can imagine Robbie Fox would go down to the fence. He's played in that role in grand finals, in fact. So he can cover off a potentially rampy, but gee, they're going to have to get it absolutely spot on.
Absolutely. Interesting game, isn't it? I tell you, maybe not as expected. Certainly the first quarter, Brisbane dominated from turnover. Sydney on top in stoppage. They've been dominant the last month from stoppage. So huge second half, Hunter.
Thank you, Brownie. Third quarter from a warm and windy Gabba at Sydney on the back of a 6-goal second term, taking a 7-point lead in a quarter 3.
Grundy was huge in that last turn. 3 clearances, including a couple from the centre bounce. He had his finest quarter.
See the tussle on the faces of the two rucks going at it. Not easy to make any headway out of that. Heaney, though, was ready to pounce. Desperate handball to the outside to Corey Warner, who got the call from the brother. Oh, brother, he's missed. 1 pick 39, 1 pick 40. So Corey just rated 1 pick behind.
Well, I think in his approach, in fact, he is improving out of sight, Corey, so a couple of picks.
What a pick the Chad was. Oh, not ideal for Leicester. Make things more difficult than they might have been. Oh, roughly to the target. Berry made it look good, and it gets better now. Skims one to the wing, but it wasn't the contact he was after, so sabotaged by Big Brody Grundy. Out to the outside to Fox. Had plenty of time, didn't he, in space to get balanced and connect with the ever-dangerous one.
Just letting this guy run way too much. Really.
Walden, it's got over the head of Zorko to Heaney.
Okay, do we need to do something about Eric Goulden? Errol Goulden, sorry. You're coaching here, Jared.
Yep.
He's been too dominant since quarter time, and every time he touched the ball, he usually results in a shot at goal.
Now, it's an important one. The Swans have had one easy shot already, or gettable shot. And if you're down on personnel, you've got to make every chance a win. Unusual decision to go on your non-preferred round the corner when it's such a magnificent drop punt, Brownie. I think it's low possession, a low percentage.
23-11 for the year coming into the game today. Isaac Heaney, number 1 in the AFL for score involvements. And with so many players injured in this game, and they'll need to convert their opportunities, you would think. Malikan steps in for the Swans here. Front half game for them so far in the third.
Done a pretty good job so far on Hipwood.
Back by Roberts, you can see the calls in the middle.
Got the wingman wide.
Parker ignores Campbell. Instead, it's straight towards goal. Straight towards a falling.
Free kick. So Hayward is on the ground.
I just had to double look at that. But John Longmire had suggested that he wouldn't be.
He was playing games on the boundary line, Hutto. But he put one arm up. Looked like he was going to snatch it. So this is 3 genuine opportunities now, Brownie. It's a good start. Haven't cashed in.
Dunkley's wild arm causing the free. So Hayward had an excellent season. His goals have just dried up a fraction of late. 28 goals, 10 for the season, and he's missed another. Twice today.
Yeah, sorry, at times his kicking routine has been very ordinary, very short.
Forgive him for the injury he has. Brilliantly collected by Malikan. Shows a bit of dash and style. Corey Warner fired out the handball. Goes a second time. Spun, picked it up, collect his thoughts, and gets it right. The youngster shows them how. Corey Warner with a big goal. They celebrate like it's his first, it's his second, and his brother was there to enjoy the moment.
Well, they've ramped up their pressure since quarter time, haven't they? So they're able to turn the ball over there in front half turnover. Just keep pressure on the ball, and Brisbane just been a bit untidy. Great finish there by Warner. Yeah, I think I think they reminded about it at quarter time.
Keep going Hayward here, Brownie. He's not right. He put his hand straight up there. Let's have another look. It's a great finish. It's a brilliant goal. But the concern for me is on Will Hayward.
Concern for me as a Lions supporter is on Errol Good. Isn't this out of bounds here? Whether someone's going to go near him.
Raider, force of will, strength in the core. To Zorko. Spalling again across half back by this Swans back half. Wilmot through McInerney. Reflexive handballs, getting it forward. Without any real due consideration. Corey Warner to the inside. Jordan deep. Well positioned as Leicester as the protector. I guess they're just trying to get the minutes they can out of Hayward, Jared.
Yeah, I think that's right. You can see he didn't bleed even there. He's on the chase. He's a bit of a liability, so somebody's going to play deep that's injured. It's going to be him.
McInerney to Danaher, wide to Cameron. Hasn't been a big factor in this game. Just quiet disposal so far. He can pop up at any time.
Great desperation.
It was great desperation from Melican. Clearing ball from Florent. Sends it up high. Surely that is some sort of front-on contact. Yeah. Not severe enough for the umpire to whistle it up. Starcevic heads to half forward. Heaney plays defender.
Need someone for the Lions to light it up here, Brownie.
Well, I think Cam Rayner looks like he's the man. He started the last centre bounce on Errol Goulden. So clearly they've put him in there just to give him a spark, which he gave him in the first quarter.
Margin is 16. Team high lead in this game for the Sydney Swans. Rayner looking to change all of that. In full flight, Cam Rayner.
He's the man. He's the man. He's the one that needs to lift them. So clearly they identify that. Put him in that centre bounce. Goes in there sometimes, start around the ball. And he's played like a ball today, which we know he's capable of. He's actually had a pretty good few weeks. Again, strong. He's had a great start to this quarter.
Oh, this is an amazing goal. This is just all power. He just willed his way. Get out of my way, I want to kick a goal, and that's exactly what he's done. It's so important that someone lifts Brownie because Lockie Neal, who's been in scintillating form, he's been well held by Taylor Adams, but that is just a great goal. Inspirational goal.
Yeah, it really was. He got a good start to the day. In this third quarter, 14 disposals, 2 goals, 4 scoring involvements, 5 clearances.
Up back in the middle and then on again. McInerney, length on the kick. Danaher. Wrong well initially by McCartan, but it fell Joe's way. Didn't bounce his way, that's right.
Like a little dish off to Charlie running past, just to get Charlie into the game.
Closes up the kick into the back pocket.
He's not prone to handballing within 40 metres of the goal, Brownie.
Now Roberts. Margin sits at 9. Remembering the Swans, 2 men down, maybe a third. Tucks it at the last moment. Ooh, there's a bit of hanging on. I reckon the umpire spots it. Yep. McLean's footy. And of course, their disapprovals. Big Hayden McLean. Due consideration. Up along the half forward flank. Well, Grundy didn't really have a play on the ball. McInerney taken care of by Heaney.
It's a big battle right now between these two big men. I reckon it was probably 50-50 in first quarter. Grundy clearly in the second, and the big O is on top in this third quarter.
And the sky ball. Roberts waiting for someone to provide some opposition. Didn't come to his liking. And now the Swans, Florent.
At first kick inside, they should be more aware of it, the Lions, than they are at the present time. They've cut it off twice, but it goes there almost every time.
Yeah, since quarter time especially, Jared, it's been a focus for the Swans.
Warner takes off. That extra length will help. Somehow Andrews spoils. Joyce wraps it around on the left boot. Great contest out there from Campbell and Lohman. And now Bailey tucked away in the corner. Watchful was Heaney.
Yeah, it was good defence. McLean looked like he was in the pole position there to take the contested mark. It's not the first time Harris Andrews has extended an arm and flicked it over the back.
Pluggage shoving Warner around, trying to get him off guard. It's Heaney instead that steps up. And Andrews has a quick look around to see who was in his neighbourhood. No one.
Two dangerous players for either time. But Cam Rayner at one end, Isaac Heaney at the other end for the Swans. You really watch them, especially in those 450 stoppages.
If these two teams meet in a final, in a big final, you wouldn't be complaining, would you?
Oh,
And what we're seeing today, had to was that kick.
that was so close.
To the Pluggage.
Probably another 5 or so minutes before fatigue starts to kick in, Brownie. So they've done well to have some opportunities, Sydney. Haven't cashed in. And the Lions just trying to maintain composure here.
Goal each in this third term. Another switch to Andrews. Try the open side. It's here, Park, Brain. Bailey. And the hard-working Rayner takes the mark, playing one of his best games for the season. Points at what's ahead. Kicks straight into what was ahead, the man on the mark. So he goes via the left this time, and the Swans are well stopped.
Yeah, taking some intercept marks. He's caught Sydney. Fourth now. Just got to do a better job at entering Brisbane. So they made Sydney chase there by switching across the other end of the field, but execution needs to be better.
McLean presented, but he went even bolder than that, but he gave the Brisbane defence a chance to come up.
Yeah.
That is
All parts of the field ball, and he was given out.
Yeah, it's a good appeal, wasn't it?
Yep.
Quarter time Sydney have done a great job of just getting out of Brisbane's forward 50, quickly get out of there and regain territory. They just haven't allowed the Lions to establish territory, establish their brand.
Parker the setter. Plays to the favourite, that man again, Harris Andrews, and he's clearly, I think back there is Hayward. Possession 40 from Leicester to Ashcroft. Not 15. Quick reaction required from Starcevic. It might have set them up for something bold and something great. Gets disrupted. Ashcroft just does the hack and hope. Rayner the same. Bailey.
Well, Brownie, interested in your thinking on where they should put Will Hayward. Right now he's playing in the central position. Maybe he should be better off just going on the boundary line in the pocket. Just to give them something to think about.
You have a forward pocket anymore, Jared?
Well, just go out there. So all of a sudden, Harris Andrews has to make a considered decision. Where am I going to sit?
Zorko cupped it from three sides there. Swans do eventually win it back. Gordon to Adams.
He's been terrific, Adams. He's kept Lockie Neal to just a couple of possessions in the second and third quarters.
Just 2 goals in this quarter through 12 and a half minutes, and Harris Andrews sporting another move forward.
Taylor Adams didn't want to go there at all. It was just the last roll of the dice, reluctantly, and the obvious result.
He's taken 4 marks in this third quarter, Harris Andrews.
Just having a bit of a build in the blue boots, just trundling behind. He's starting to show some fatigue. Not pushing back.
It's good fight by Brisbane, so building up the uncontested marks.
Good. Let off.
That's been a problem though, their execution since quarter time going into their forward 50, but they are at least making Sydney chase now because they do have a numerical advantage on the bench, so they need to build their uncontested marks, make Sydney chase defensively in their zone setups going from side to side, but they've just got to be able to execute that last kick going inside.
Gather on the wing. Joyce, Grundy, and Isaac Heaney sliding forward. Corey Warner looks up and sees what you see, which is no teammates at all. He waits as long as he can. Give Jordan a chance to take flight. Didn't leap, but did control it. And now it's over to you, Isaac.
Jared, is that where you think Will Hayward might be? Just extend the ground, holding him deep. So, look, he's struggling to compete at the moment, so he's not really helping in the defensive zone coming forward. But I think hold him back, so if they get through, they've got a target.
Yeah, that's exactly the plan I was thinking, Lindsay, because as you said, he's not really effective up the ground. Harris Andrews is doing what he likes, but if he's sitting in the forward pocket, takes an uncontested mark or drags Harris Andrews out of there.
Well, they peppered away at one in the Swans and kicked 1 goal for. Now it's Brisbane's turn. Could have floated the handball over to Loman, who keeps on running. He wants an option that's just got a little bit more surety about it. Kicks to where they've gathered in the pocket. Danaher has a good look and a good fly. Can't mark. Roberts rocked up by Dunkley.
Here's the interesting though. Brisbane have looked vulnerable when Sydney have dragged their numbers up the field. They've got them out the back. They just haven't been able to convert this quarter, Sydney. So 8 inside 50s for 1 goal for.
Ricky Neal's had just 1 disposal in the last 45 minutes of play. Amazing. Cameron, no factor there again. Florent with a clearer. Right out to the wing. Joyce on the ball, on the boundary. Waiting for confirmation. Yep.
I don't even think the umpire wanted to play that, but he had to. It is Lockie Neal. I mean, he could just separate this game in the space of the next 10 minutes. Fatigue's starting to set in. They've got to start winning some football again, Brisbane.
Zorko, hard one to handle that. It was a fierce kick. Volleyed around. There's a whistle here.
I think he was dumped after he handballed it.
Parker. It's 4 here. Rayner quite control his emotions. Back to the wing.
Harris Andrews.
He's unpassable at the moment. They could easily have kicked 3 or 4 goals in this turn. Sydney have just wasted a few genuine chances.
Multiple leapers. Came to nothing. Rayner. Blakey intervenes.
That's got to
The
happen.
crowd are cheering for insufficient. Look at the end result.
That probably should have been paid because he was going nowhere else but the boundary for safety. He's probably lucky he just set up a little bit and the players were able to get close enough.
That's a free kick, Brownie.
Smith coming into ruck against Grundy. To the front. Goulden. The instant clear. Genuine one-on-one. There's a jumper being tugged. Joyce. Oh, look at Hayward. Mind over matter. Charging forward. Gabba McLean set him up for a fall. Wilmot. McLean comes back the other way.
That's brilliant, but it was actually knocked out by Wilmot in the tackle. That's why the umpire didn't pay it.
It's a good decision by the umpire. Knocked out. Look at the set-up handball. Hospital.
8 minutes remaining. We're no closer in this third term. Loma pushes off a high tackle. Gabba Smith. And gave it back to Loma. He was waiting for him, but Warner wasn't. And now it's Cam Rayner. This is
Not too much time there. He's done a good job. He's Harry Cunningham or Charlie Cameron. We know he's had a good record on him, but around those forward 50s toppage, you've got to be on high alert. Played well.
This is a real chance. Should never have given the goal away for this boomerang. Just aim it straight at the far goal post and let the ball do its work.
Speaking of which, here's Harry Cunningham. Picked 93 in the rookie draft back in 2012. What a pick that was. Heaney to Adams. This time it's Zorko who plays interrupter. He did it well on the ground. Crane feeding it through. Dunkley just trying to work it off the outside of the boot. A rare possession today for Neal, but a good one. And again to Dunkley. They kept coming until they ran into Florent. Heaney lips away.
It was a good breakdown there by the Lions. The Swans were away, probably just a poor handball from Adams. And then they got the cavalry there. There's the record of Hattie.
No wonder they were keen to get Harry Cunningham back into the team today. It's Charlie Cameron. So far, he's done it again. Swans flick it forward.
What's he got forward is the question.
Yeah, not much. Warner. From Corey to Chad. He wants it back to Chad. Hayward. Oh, Hayward has kicked a goal. His coach said he wouldn't be out there. That's why he is.
I think they've looked really dangerous when they're able to spread the field. So that time, the big fellas did a really good job for Sydney. They got back inside 50 and they were able to open up around the 50-metre area. So that allowed space for Chad Warner to run into. You just see, obviously, Hayward looks like he's struggling injury-wise, but he's playing his role. But you can see that they dragged back Brisbane's deeper defenders, created some space there, and a great finish by Hayward.
Well, that time was Joel Amati in the forward pocket, getting the captain out of the way.
Brownie, it'd be interesting, when do the Brisbane Lions put their sub in? So they've got Ravel on the bench and maybe a structural change. They've obviously gone into this game with the extra tall forward. You'd hate to see the debutant come off, but maybe structural change and really test the run of the Swans in this last quarter and a half.
Yeah, it's a good point, Lynchy. I agree with you. I think it's time for a change there. Just going inside 50, it's been a challenge for the Lions. 38 entries for only 7 goals, 5. So change that up, as you say. Start to challenge Sydney because they are 2 men down on the bench.
Great call. In fact, it was an interesting selection in the first place, wasn't it, from a balance point of view, and Logan Morris going out. Warner edges it. Fletcher really interrupts, cuts it off and sends it to McCluggage. Brisbane now trying to lift. The reality is they only kicked 2 goals since quarter time. They kicked 5 in the first, 1 in the second, and only 1 in this third quarter in 20 minutes.
No, it's been a courageous performance just by Sydney. It's been absolutely superb. They haven't exacted full toll, but they've extended their lead. And Brisbane have got all these fresh places and faces on the bench. Archie hasn't done much. Charlie Cameron needs to lift.
Oh, snatched back by Wilmot. And he can't land the blow.
Sydney out there too, so fortuitous there for the Lions that the umpire called that back and waited for the umpire.
Did you get any intel on the Papley injury at all, Brownie?
Yeah, we're not sure about that, Lynchy. It's certainly been a big loss. He looked very sore coming off of that ankle.
I think it's going to be a 1-weeker.
Blakey plays it wide. Leicester intent on the spoil, and that's why Wilmot was ready for action. Buzzing around down there, Archie and Lohman. They work together. Back to Zorko. He plays a kick forward, and McCartan guarding with his life.
It really has been a poor return from Brisbane. If you look at their inside 50 efficiency. Early in the season, that was their big problem. That was their Achilles heel. They had a lot of inside 50s but couldn't score. Today's been a reflection of that. They've been able to sort it out, but today they've gone backwards. 40 entries for only 13 shots.
Bruce might have moved to the front row down there. Lynchy might be too far away.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just see the interchange board up, so yet to see who the replacement is.
I think you're on the money.
Who's on? Yeah.
Well, it's a powerful unit to come onto the ground and pull a run. Swans doing an amazing job given their own missions to be in the position they're in.
Yeah, so Henry Smith taking himself.
5 minutes remaining. Still relatively delicately poised. Brisbane the fast start. Sydney rectified that by half-time, and they've gone on with it, but they certainly haven't put them away. Led by 14, Neil has to get to work. He'll know that. To Lohman, a call from Bailey to the left. The call was, he was going to answer that. Instead, he goes a little more direct. Late to the picture was Hipwood. Did enough, created the chaos, and the rest. Oh, Bailey, gee, they've blown some chances.
They've blown some chances. It's their worst game this season for their inside 450 efficiency. So their ability to go in there and then turn that into a score.
Boots up, wasn't it?
Boots up, yes. Bailey should have nailed that.
Jordan located in the back pocket. Up to the wing. Bit of a standoff for a moment. Leicester had it fisted away by Amati. Still is digging deep. Hayward flicks it forward to Campbell. Just caresses it under the chest of McLean.
That's too easy, Brownie. Coming from deep in defence. They've not been able to interrupt the Swans' ball movement.
Fatigue setting in for both teams. Just because you've got an advantage on the bench with injuries doesn't mean the other team's not going to continue to run hard, especially when they're on offence, as we saw then, even with Hayward was a good example. He still run pretty well, even when you carry an injury.
He should keep running. He looks better by the minute.
Yes.
There's one goal under the belt. Hayden McLean. He just nurses that fraction to the left. So both teams haven't found their best kicking in this third quarter. 1 goal 4 to Brisbane, 2 goals 5 to Sydney. Both scored a lot.
Yep.
Considering the number of inside 50s when they've got in there, but
It's really important that the Swans just dig in here, because if they concede a couple before three-quarter time...
Tigers gets that kick wrong. Bouncing back though through Fletcher. Loman. Turned back on the right. Well handled by Parker. Just poaches it back for the Swans. 3.5 to go now in the third. Parker, an up and under number. McLean tracks that all the way. Had the size advantage, and it was a significant one. McDonald came off his man at the right moment. There's the son to deal with, and there's Joyce late. Berry and fumble. A second double grab. And Campbell's sweating and hoping, but the call doesn't go his way.
Brownie, once again, we saw the sun being an issue at that end. We'll just assure everyone it gets worse in the last quarter for the right of for that end of the ground. It is very hard. Just sits above the grandstand and straight into the eyes of the forwards.
A lot of people in the south watching and so I'd like to have the sun as a problem in their lives at the moment. It's revealed to Danaher on the bounce for Lone, and it made it awfully tricky. Fox.
Story of the quarter.
Back to McCartan. And they sort it out. Yes, they do. Fine. It's all right.
You can see even Lloyd there struggle with the sun in his eyes. He had a second look.
Lauren. It's a little skitter. Okay to Campbell and then Tahini. It seemed like he liked what was ahead. I don't know why, although somehow it's come to Marty's favour. Andrews is there. And Marty able to prevail. Andrews a bit sore for all of that. He's still not out rolling over as the footy rolls off the boot. Dunkley back to the wing. Into Bruce. Reville. Groggy, maybe. Just a bit sore all over.
Good effort there by Nick Blakey. They're important. Just late in the game, you can be forgiven. Late in the quarter, forgiven for maybe dropping off there, but great effort by Nick Blakey. So we see the approach here by Harris Andrews. Just a cop a solid hit from Marty on the side there. Just might be a bit sore. Great effort by Blakey though, as I said. Just being able to stall Brisbane's free entries inside 50.
2 minutes remaining. Third quarter. Adams stands strong and able to create for Campbell. He started to impact in the third quarter. Marty makes himself a handy target again. Lauder calls for it out wide on the boundary as they will filter back to the forward 50, making the challenge even greater. Just pops and hopes out of the pocket, and Warner found a way after all of that.
That was a clever kick in the finish. Warner was in the defensive position, and he just dropped it into the space knowing that he'd had the athleticism to go inside. Challenging kick, but he can be a magician with the football, this fellow, so you wouldn't put it beyond him.
Generally, we become accustomed to doing his best work on the run, in the moment. He has to create it himself, but it does drift. So that's 2-6 for Sydney, 1-4 for the Lions in this quarter.
May well impact the result. The finish, the inaccuracy this turn. They've created so many genuine chances. The side that you would expect is going to suffer from the fatigue of the lack of rotations.
See where the Lions misses have been on the run, on with the snaps, where Sydney from the set shots, where they've just been a little faulty. Some run and overlap from Zorko, received from Dunkley, probing ball for Cameron, just inside the boundary. That's on the ground, love the boundary call.
Better be up there. Eric Hipwood's first touch for the quarter, and Charlie Cameron coming up for his first touch of the quarter. So need to get involved. I like that. So Hipwood gets gets up the field, gets to work, gets an uncontested mark, and Cameron does as well, and heads back towards goal. It's always challenging when Charlie's running towards goal.
On a barren afternoon for Charlie Cameron, 5 disposals, hasn't hit the scoreboard. Still hasn't. Frustrating for those on a little bit of country roads in their afternoon. 3/4 time at the Gabba. The Swans a little damaged with some injured players, but their stars and their lesser lights have stepped up. They enjoy a 15-point lead. Can the Lions close that gap in the last?
All right, there we go, folks. It's 3/4 time here at the Gabba. It's the Swans 9-10-64 to the Lions 7-7-49. Chris, you're right. Inaccuracy. The Lions, they should have kicked at least 2 to 3 more goals in that quarter. They just squandered their opportunity. I don't know how these players can't just slot it straight through the sticks. 1 goal, 4 to the Lions in that quarter to 2 goals, 6 to the Swans. This game is still alive. This game is still alive. Anyone's chance. As I said like earlier on, it's a little bit like a chess game, this one. Both defences holding up too well. I didn't see the pressure as much from both sides in that third quarter as I'd seen in the first half. But it's going to be a great quarter. You're right. Caven, how you going? Lovely contest. Good stuff. Leon, he's got his money on Sydney, even though he has no clue what's going on. I think it's not a bad choice having your money on Sydney at the moment. 15 points up. Going in as underdogs. I still couldn't believe Sydney were about 210 to win this game and the Lions were going in as favourites. There we go. Good luck with that. Let's see, Charlie Cameron needs to get in the game just like Mr. No Handball. Mr. No Handball. Joey Danaher needs to get in on the action if the Lions are going to fire up in the final quarter. All right, let's just have a quick look at the disposals, see what's happening. Zorko, 22 disposals. Not too bad even with 22, but still, I don't think he's still really having a massive impact on the game there. And he's lived 20 kicks, 2 handballs. There we go. He likes putting a foot on the boot. Or the ball on the boot, I should say. Robbie Fox, 21. Errol Goulden had a slow quarter there for the Swannies on 20. McCluggage, yeah, there's a few of them didn't have great third quarters there. McCluggage or Rayner. Taylor Adams just doing his role there was 17. Chad Warner, not bad, was 16. Got a sausage roll. It's come down. Luke Parker, 15. He's still a little bit quiet there, Chris, that's for sure. Isaac Heaney. Yeah, it's the Lions are doing good that they're keeping these 2 players reasonably quiet. Let's continue down here while we've just still got a couple of minutes there. Grundy on 12. Danaher, there we go, 12 possessions. He's only kicked a one behind since quarter time. And where is he? There he is. 12 disposals, 9 kicks. Still just 3 handballs. No one really dominating at the moment. Absolutely no one is. As I said, it's like a chess game. And Brisbane had the first quarter all in their ball game. Sydney had the play all their way, and then it's just been, it was just like a real arm wrestle in that third quarter where not much action really happened. Yeah, no one had the momentum or the swings. But, as you said, it could have been different if those shots had have gone through for goal for Brisbane. They could well and truly be ahead of this game or at least even. So it's going to be a cracking final quarter. Let's just have a look. The goal scorers probably haven't changed too much. Danaher still with 3. He's kicked 3 goals, 2 from his 9 kicks. Cam Rayner, he's not going too bad. He's playing a reasonably good game. 2 goals off his 9 kicks. Corey Werner, his brother Chad Warner. They both got 1 each. Lukey Parker, McLean, McDonald, 1 each for the Swans. McCluggage, 1 for the Lions. Hayward Goulden. Goulden is probably one of the best on ground. He's going reasonably well. Zach Bailey and Armady and Taylor Adams with 1. But this is going to be fantastic. Just for the AFL fantasy points, 97 to Zorko, who leads the way from Goulden and Robbie Fox. We're only a minute away from the bounce of the final quarter. Hope you're enjoying the game. I said the next game I'll cover will be the Carlton North Melbourne game. That'll come up in about an hour and a quarter or so, or an hour and a half, I think. After this game, I won't cover the Freo game. I'll just watch a little bit of that as we do the Carlton game. But I tell you what, stay tuned for this game. This is going to be a cracking last quarter. Who's going to come on top? Who's going to go forward? Is it the Lions or the Swans? Let's get back to the commentators for the start of the final quarter.
We're struggling with a left shoulder concern, so fingers crossed for the Swans fans that he can get through.
Yeah, thank you, Lynch. There's something, Brownie, they haven't had to deal with this year. So we're exposing a few more players today. One of them is Corey Warner, who you can see the joy when he was able to hit the scoreboard with his brother in that term.
That's right, yeah. That third quarter, that was the Warner Brothers production. No question about it. How long until he gets single name status? His brother's got the Chad. If he keeps going at this rate, he'll get Corey.
The Corey?
The Corey. What a great quarter.
Sorry, Brownie.
All
right, last quarter. What has it got in store for us? McInerney trying to get it to Lockie Neal. Instead it was Dunkley. And then McCluggage just lunges and kicks it out wide for Archie. The bounce was relatively favourable, but they were running out towards the line.
Well, Taylor Adams has been absolutely superb so far, but job not yet done. And it doesn't look like he's deciding at the present time. But Lockie Neal is the man that just has to be kept quiet.
Casual little handoff from Grundy.
Looks like Isaac Heaney is calling someone up. He doesn't want to know about going head to head. He wants to be going 100 miles an hour the other way.
Why wouldn't he? His name's the quarter. Brisbane needs to get speed back in the game. 41 uncontested marks in that quarter. We know they like a lot of marks, but that's too many. So Sydney have just been able to control the tempo of the game.
Campbell skies it back to the wing. The Lions should be able to repel that. Starcevic ready to spring into action. Numbers building out wide. They're going to be pushing forward, and it's over the line. So Lockie Neal just the 10 disposals. He's averaging just under 30. Last week he had 34 disposals and 13 clearances. So it's a massive drop in output.
Holding on Lockie Neal, that's the problem. Yeah. Luke Parker came up to grab him and he just got away from him, didn't take the front position, was pushing him inside, and then just a little scrag.
Big O thought it was his free kick then. It was possibly two. The first one, his defence is the one called. So Lockie Neal, 8-3 off his boot this year, and a further 13 goals, 16 assists, and he'll be hoping that McCluggage can salute here.
His goal kicking's improved here in McCluggage, so this will test him now. He's going to have to kick from every bit of 50 metres.
That big telling goal, of course, at the death against the D's. That was from the boundary. This, you can see a much wider opening off the instep. It's working its way back, but it wasn't the sort of purity he was after. It's just a bit flat, and that's why. Quarter since their last goal, Brown.
Yeah, spot on. Need to get some energy into the game, the Lions. Need to get the crowd involved. They've slowed the game down Sydney brilliantly since quarter time.
They've got to get John Denver going, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Back to the wing.
Oh, is that a 50?
Now, he's in the contest, that's what the umpires said, so no 50 despite Isaac Heaney's pleas.
Good since half time, Isaac Heaney.
Scowls what's ahead. Three-quarter kick, quite hit the mark. Wasn't far off, but McCluggage and Zorko, and they power the Lions forward. They're going wide first. Malikan will get there just a moment before Joe gave him a bit of a shove, and the umpire says it was in the back.
Yeah, it was from the right angle there, the umpire too. Good decision. One under Malikan there. Just they've been so good behind the football at Sydney, just been able to slow Brisbane down. And Zorko was out there, but really didn't have a clean kick.
Lions' last quarters haven't been great. It's been their worst of the year. 7 wins, 2 drawn, and 8 lost.
Well, the Swans have been forced down the line a lot because the Lions have taken away the corridor for them, but if they're going to go down, they need a contest in those areas.
Here's Cameron, a long way up the ground to go collecting. His jumper was tugged there by Blakey. Well seen by the output.
That's a good example right there, though. That Sydney have taken away the corridor as well, though. So Brisbane just don't have access to it to get their fast play going.
That's a good kick.
It was down to one with good penetration.
Such a talented player's come a long way this year, Brownie. This fellow.
Yes, yeah, he's an impact player too.
Danaher's worked his way deep, but he won't be in this contest. Instead it was Hipwood. Here's McCluggage, looking left, turning right! And this time he hits the right button. Fists are raised around the Gabba.
How did that get through the gap? There's a Swans player on the line, and it's gone under shoulder height. Just 2 metres short, Lewis Malikan. I don't think he thought, he's still worried about his own man. Oh, that was just amazing. That's a great goal.
Under the crossbar, Jerry.
Under the crossbar, the striker has hit.
I wasn't watching the Euros, Jerry. Lewis Malikan. Great effort there by Hugh McCluggage. He started this last quarter off very well. Leading ranking points on the ground today.
Equal career high, 25 disposals a game. Hitting the lines for inside 50s and impacting directly on the scoreboard. It's back to 8.
Next couple of minutes super important now for the Swans, and the crowd's right into this game.
Sutherland sliding up to the billing. Straight lines out of the middle. Hugh McCluggage. That one's gone the whole 90 yards. Excess excitement from Hugh McCluggage. Sends the Gabba into a frenzy. 2 completely different goals, but 2 great ones for the Brisbane Lions, and it is a 2-point ball game.
The crowd's going bananas now. We spoke about the crowd being dead 2 or 3 minutes ago, but they're back into back-to-back goals now to Hugh McCluggage. It's so important to get that follow-up centre-bounce goal, to get that.
Ball hasn't spun off a good length like that for many a day. That was as good a delivery as we've seen at the Gabba. I reckon Warney would have been happy with that leg spin.
Yeah, he didn't mind ball at the Gabba, Ronnie. 2 points the margin. The heat back on Sydney. Off the boot of Hugh McCluggage. Free kick goes to Taylor Rose. Off to Gordon. Now the Swans turn to respond. Goes it wide. Corey Warner.
A bit of a wasted opportunity there.
I think they're centre bouncy there. You need to drive it inside 50. Got even numbers ahead of the ball.
Worry for the horses. He's unbridled when he's down on the bench. So normally he's just constricted a bit up in the box. Here's McCluggage. He's a man inspired at the moment. Both ends of the ground.
It's only
He's
kicked 3
sprinting
goals.
everywhere.
McCluggage 3 goals against the Swans up until this period of time was basically a minute. He's kicked one of the great goals. And a ripper coming out of the centre square.
Now he's got the crowd finding voice. Zorko just hacks and hopes, playing almost the ball. And Roberts pops it from Rainer.
It's a great tackle. When he gets you, there's very few people get out.
Suddenly all that energy's returned to the Lions. Couple of goals to make a big difference.
Pound for pound, not many stronger in the league than the Rainer man.
Well, they've been nervous applying that tackle. Considering what happened to Charlie Cameron last week.
Don't think we need to answer that question, Granny.
He performed beautifully there.
Right vacancy there. Quick kick away from Berry. Lloyd. Knew where he had help. Cunningham dislodged in the tackle. Holding the ball, the umpire said. Cameron couldn't not the connection he was after though with Danaher. Wasn't a good kick from Charlie.
Geez, McCartan's fought back really well, conceded a couple of goals in the first quarter, and he's been terrific since.
All these kicks, there's just dicing a little bit with danger here, the Swans. Wilden wanted to slow things down. Screaming out wide was Lloyd. The kick goes even longer to Jordan. Just trying to open things up a bit. Spread the lines and find a way through. Still, it's just kick mark stuff. Fox is tempting fate with that. Made it hard for that man, Warren, but it ends up okay. And just around the edges, the Swans.
Well, that kick was never on, Hutto. That was teasing distance. The Lions set that up. They knew where it was going and they were ready to pounce. That's a gimme. So tense right now. So much riding on this particular game.
Particularly for the Brisbane Lions. How valuable a double chance would be. Even a home double chance in the first week of finals is up for grabs, depending on how the Blues go. And others in a run home. Just an incredible season. So many games poised just like we have here. Wind swirling around the Gabba. Heaney and Gordon trying to come to the fore. Zorko just slap. That's coming back.
Got the corridor, but
Roberts thought about it. In the end, he wants to put them under the pump straight away if he can. Awkward ball for the big man, McLean.
really missing Tapley down there. They're very tall in that forward line. They've got the super smarts crumbing that Tom Tapley has given them all these years.
That's why Heaney's the dangerous man here. Heaney and Goulden both in there. Lions watching them closely.
Yeah, there is a lot going on off the ball. Oh, that's an interesting handball to say the least. He probably didn't have the same view we did, I don't think. Fox plays it right back there again. Slight variation.
Rebound.
But not going with the same result. Lane gives it an absolute belting. Put back by Roberts. Gordon captured by Rayner. One of the few that probably could. It's a big win at centre half back, and the big wins are starting to add up.
Seventh tackle for Rayner. He's had a great day.
That's an indifferent kick out wide.
Isn't it? Look at Rayner tackle. Oh, just one ball got out there.
They're in a brain. And now to McCluggage. Mr. Poplar. They're together right now. Just loses a little bit of popularity in that kick.
Robbie Fox straight to the interchange for a rest. Unusual. Blakey comes onto the ground. Rotations 54 to 53, so not impacting the rotations. Low rotation going full stop.
Phil Rayner's way. Takes the invitation and flies Roden. He's played the ball.
We saw him last week. Just watching here. We're going to play on. We'll go back and sum them up. We saw him last week in the last quarter against West Coast. When West Coast challenged Brisbane, he stood up, kicked 2 goals.
Yeah.
He can really light them up.
Started the season right on the edge of selection. First 3 occasions he was the sub. How different things are now. Fights right and never threatens. It's a 1-point ball game at the Gabba. Buckle up, everyone. Another exciting finish is coming your way.
Haven't loaded tackle this quarter, the Swans. Brisbane Lions they're up to 7. And some have turned into saving goals. That's a better mark from Logan McDonald. Much better attack at the footy.
No positivity. McDonald, the forwards up against each other there, a little unusual. And then he kicks now to Kemp. Just does the right thing as a defender there. Safety first. Let's check the live ladder. So it's only 1 point the difference. So Brisbane would be down in 7th. Sydney, of course, well and truly clear at the top. But if the Lions can get over the top, they'll jump right up into that top 4. That kick forward, Danaher. Ryan to Ashcroft. Cameron made the tag without the footy. Stripped of it, McCartan.
Clearance becoming a bit of a problem here for Sydney. The Lions right on top in this term.
Yeah, so, and their runaway from stoppages is becoming telling for the Lions. So we know Sydney is short. The man.
McInerney. Cameron is ready. Ball not bouncing his way.
The Big O just getting on top in the last couple of clearances. Such a big unit, it's got a stronger reach. It's been a wrestle for the last 3.5 quarters between the two of them.
They're not trying to play their part. It's into the line and some of the players don't know the rules.
That's a big deal for Lions players. Putting on McCluggage, you still watch McCluggage. He obviously good and understands that Hugh McCluggage's the most dangerous player on the ground at the moment.
Lions with only 4 scores in the last quarter. Anything goes with Joe. That hits the behind post.
Lions have their dynamic players all in there. Charlie Cameron, Cam Rayner, Hugh McCluggage, Zach Bailey. So they need to be on high alert here, the Sydney Swans defenders and midfielders especially.
Gordon watching McCluggage like a horn. Great by Joe! He's just got it in from behind.
It's good work though from Joe. He's up against the senior ruckman. He's just dropped off significantly these last 2 minutes. Swans need him to find his best if they're to get across the line.
The famous tie at the Gabba, of course, in cricket all those years ago. Scores are level at the moment. Brisbane and Sydney, 9-10, 64 apiece. Look at the old or the young lift in the closing stages. Wilmot very much belongs on the big stage. Time to release now for Zorko. A wrestle from the ruckman. Raider! Oh, his hands look so clean. Hip will pick it up.
Well, that was so close. It would have won. That was incredible look. About 5 deep. Let's have another look at it. Powerful unit. Gets a full grab on it.
I think he just didn't quite hang on to it enough. Split second.
Good marks of the year pay for that, that's great.
That's right.
Lions lead by 1.
Right, he's open. Good first quarter here, Oscar McInerney.
As he's looked at.
Starting to get on top territory-wise now. Sydney just looking fatigued, just hanging on.
Game being played exclusively at this end of the ground. Danaher, Blakey. Just the very last moment, Joe thought he got a shove.
He hit it perfectly, the ball, at the time. He's the live ladder there, Brisbane. We're in front, so they go to second.
That's the difference. The Carlton still to play. McLean took the contact. Jordan to Adams, knew exactly where McDonald was running, and they can trot along the wing now. Fox to the outside, over to Warner. Cuts the kick back to the inside. A goal over McCluggage. Corey Warner out to Hayward. Balance as he can, and he gets the angles right. Never say die.
What a great game of footy they got. Long time to go before finals, but this is like a final. A great transition from Sydney. Thought they made an error with that final kick, but Corey Warner has been terrific. Amble didn't hit the target, but Will Hayward is dealing well. We're not quite sure what he's dealing with, but he's just hung in there and he's been terrific. 2 goals with an injury. And John Longmire pretty pumped, as are the senior players.
He's still limping in the pocket. Let's not lose his limp. Not with Will Hayward. Tom Papley provided us he probably done a serious injury, but just shows how excited he is and excitable. Great celebration on the bench.
Even in the moon boot.
Sydney back in front. Their first score of this final term.
What a clearance this is.
We're gripped by this one. Shade working its way very gradually across the Gabba. The wind swirling. A tap down, McLean tacking on McInerney and getting it forward. Corey Warner. On the day he's starting to have. Started as the sub, but he's played a significant role.
Some bad news for the Brisbane Lions. Currently, Harris Andrews is off the ground going through a HIA assessment.
That is bad news.
Yep.
Coach sweating. He's not the only one. Berry, Pack and Hope. Hipwood, Malikan right by his side. To Blakey and to Roberts. Wanted to make the right call. between. Bailey seized onto the football, but Florence seized onto him. Hipwood kept coming, and so did the Swans back the other way. It's Campbell on this occasion.
So Tiz Malikin's done a good job on Eric Hipwood's disposals today. And McCartan's fought back hard on Danny Hill.
An inside kick again has been exposed.
Ashcroft going every which way, settles on the right boot, and there he is again. And Lewis Malikin.
It's been an important game there. He was injured there in the first half, so down to their two key defenders, one important role, Malikin.
Well, it's good defence by Brisbane. They cut off all the cross-ground opportunities. Probably in the end, at this time of the game, he sort of conceded the kick down the line, get the territory.
10th season at the club, Lewis Malikin. Just all of 2022. With the right year to make sure he's his body right. As the ball trips over the boundary line and out of bounds. It's game 78. Lewis hangs in the balance.
4 clearances to 12 in this turn. They're so on top. Brisbane.
7 shots from 9 entries, Gerard. They're just holding up the damn wall, Sydney, at the moment.
Sun in the eyes of the fans watching in that corner of the ground. But they are watching intently on what we are going to see here.
And Brisbane probably need to clear this out a little bit. It's so hard getting scores.
Oh, Danaher seized onto that, played it forward, and Blakey, where he should be.
They're too tight, Gerard. So they need to create some space for each other.
Get some out of there, even if you lose possession, but then come back into an open forward line.
You can throw a blanket over their forwards and mids at the moment, those forward stoppages.
Oxton Malikin.
Big kicks those.
Slipping off the instep, but that's roughly where it was intended. No mark, though, for Joyce, and so Jordan gets tied up by Neil. He's still just 2 disposals in this quarter.
You've got to maintain the vice, though, because one release handball can sort this game out.
A grab, there he is, he's on the move. With that hand, the pass was good, up to meet at Hipwood. The next, so important. And here comes Cameron. Fly, Charlie gets released. He takes the mark.
That's experience too. Lynch, how's that sun going? I reckon Charlie led out of the sun, just so he could see it. It's just below the grandstand, I reckon.
Yeah, it's important when you lead out that way. It's about to go right, so you can actually see the ball. Well, this is well positioned here. The blustery breeze has dropped somewhat since the first half, so not too bad of conditions here for this shot.
I've seen that clearance before. The big O with the left hand punches at the space, and Rocky's in that space.
For most of the week, we thought he wasn't playing. He thought he wasn't playing, but he's out there, and he's kicking the biggest of goals. Get ready for me, Tom Denver. Over to you, DJ.
Let's have another look at this clearance. There's Lockie there, just slipped forward of Luke Parker. It's only a couple of metres, but he was in space. And it was that space that enabled Charlie Cameron to get away. Let's have another look. It's a handball, in fact. Yeah, great work from Big O. Really good work.
It was a magnificent kick. Charlie Cameron just soaked up. He hasn't had a great game. He's had a big week. Would have felt a lot of anxiety throughout the week coming into the game, no question. Here goes the crowd, Gerard.
They've firmly thought Chris Winnicky, QC or KC could have such an impact on a game of footy.
Can he take them home? Warner, the response. Warner and Heaney, as far as Dunkley. He's starting to sabotage. Off to Neil, who's lifted. Archie. Heaney again, up against the line. Ratcheted forward in the tackle.
Sydney's an overuse of that footy coming out of that centre clearance, Brownie, rather than taking the territory.
Oh, great.
So much pressure.
This is the Medina around the Gabba. Blakey tries to get on the bike, sends it forward. Florent, this has to be good, and it is. Controlled to Hayward.
And again,
Yes, again.
great work from the Lizard. It's a handball into advantage.
Yeah, I know. He struggled with his run-up, with these set shots. So this will be a real test for him.
To give Sydney back the lead, with only 6 minutes remaining. A picture of concentration. It's tight. Oh, so tight. So very tight, as is the game. 1 point in it. 5:55 to go in quarter four. Zorko targets Leicester and finds him well.
Got the corridor.
That's what he covets. Brings it in.
And not enough pushing back there from Amadi.
Wilmot
Had to cover that.
must have just reroute a bit and go all the way back to Joyce.
That's a great kick.
It was with a solo. That makes it hard for Fletcher. Can't stave off the veteran Parker, who's got as much juice as anyone. There's almost a year of frustrations all boiling up. He's let loose last week. What an impact he has had both last week as the sub and then out there today. Locked onto Lockie. He's brilliant sunshine at the Gabba. Heaney found Parker. They limp forward into the 50. Speaking of limping, here's Hayward. Flings it back. They can't contain Warner. It's Lloyd. Lloyd! Lloyd! And a prayer that goes through.
It's been a courageous performance this by Sydney. Whether they win or lose, just to keep on keeping on has been absolutely testament to their character. And the guts that just hang in there with all the injuries has been quite amazing. But it's a clearance. It's almost decided the game in some respects. And this was just good handball. I mean, Warner, he thought simple. He kept it simple. There was a little short there. Could have gone to McLean, but he took the responsibility, the veteran, and he nailed it.
Been a stoppage arm race in this last quarter. Both teams, Brisbane 2-3 from stoppage. Sydney kicked the goal. They keep responding, Sydney. When they lose the lead, they just dug in so well. We've spoken about Hayward often today. That's a great finish by Lloyd. Hayward playing injured, but a lot of sore balls out there. It's been courageous. There's the score win. Fought their way back in.
And lead by 5. The pluggage. He did so much damage early in the quarter. Blakey. They all have to wait for the unpredictable bounce of the ball. Malikan provides the sturdy backup. And of course, the handball. And we wait.
Well, the score's handball straight out of bounds.
4:46 now.
It looks like probable good news for the Lions with Harris Andrews. Looks like he's about to come on the ground.
It's Lynchy. And he works his way to the front, and he knew where to hit at that time. To Canberra. Up against the line, happy to keep it there. Adams takes what's on offer. It's a well-weighted kick. Gave McDonald the opportunity to do just that, urging on by his teammates and all the Sydney staff that are right there. They have the vantage point. No shortage of advice being offered to McDonald. Kicks it long and deep into the pocket. Brain!
Just after he left, he made the decision to go early, leave his man.
Moved his head. Found Zorko. Back out to the wing. This looks better. Again, some factor again, perhaps for Hipwood. So just double the efforts. Neil sends it forward. McInerney. Nothing by hand. Just trying to poke it through a lot of traffic. Came to grief. Warner forward to Florent. Inside 4 minutes now. Florent stretched out. He's got a big man. He's not going to worry about him too much. Into Warner. Or help to the outside. I better worry about this guy. Goulden deep towards Hayward again. And Brain takes the mark. Brilliant from Brain.
They need to go there. Brisbane needed to go. They need to challenge Sydney. The game's been in motion for a while now.
The youngsters collaborating. Brain and Wilmot. And up to Hipwood, a long way from the goals. It's Brisbane that needs to score. Sydney lead by 5. McInerney.
Very good. He's got to start running again. He's just plodding at the present time. He's got to get down there.
Danaher worked under the ball. Rayner not far away. It's Archie! Oh, he's kicked it! The Gabba erupts as one.
instinctive, absolutely magnificent.
We've seen some amazing goals this quarter, Jared, from both teams, especially Brisbane. We've seen Hugh McLean is out in the corner. Charlie Cameron, long bomb. One from Sydney. Now, this is as good as it gets. On the opposite foot, if you don't mind. Just flush that.
A couple of players just not pushing down early enough. So the open side of the ground was free. No Swans players pushing into that area. And he's just pulled one out. What a set of clearance it is, this one.
Brisbane crowd on their feet for Cal Archie. Back over to you, Sydney Swans. Brisbane 9 scores to 3 in the last. Only 1 point to split them. Warner, they all know what they've got to do. It's a soccer inside 50. Steadfast the Lions. A rush ball from Leicester. It's Ashcroft versus Fox. He left it there for Ashcroft, who steps over, ball in hand. And we're down to 2:36.
Hasn't been good, the defence of Brisbane in this last quarter. Just deep in defence. So many times have outread the Swans forward.
Yeah, Shadow O'Brien did it a couple of times. That time Ryan Leicester.
Adams.
You can just see the scores. Every time they've gone in there, they've just wasted a number of opportunities, Sydney. And it's been brain by name and brain by action.
Good turnover from the Lions out there. Ability to score on the downside 53rd quarter. They're horrible at that.
Here's Warner, just cruising. 2 bounces off the left boot from the Chad. Sends it forward, hard for McDonald. Starcevic, nervous for everyone. Bit of a standoff. Leicester, Andrews. Thrashes it out of there, big contest, busy intersection, just smashed away by Dunkley. Down to 2 minutes now, Grundy on all fours, gets down, here's Danaher, nifty gift to McCluggage, now to the quarter, sends it forward. Every second that ticks away is so precious. Oh, the Swans collapse, Archie, the goals are there. Oh, he's missed, he kicked the hard one, and he missed the one that was staring him in the face.
He could have ran all the way in. I tell you, the Sydney boys have run into each other.
That's football. That's why we love it so much. In this amazing season, this crazy game is keeping us sane.
Well, the crowd has energised Brisbane this last quarter. They've been able to get the crowd back into it. No doubt that has helped.
Well, actually opened the game up there for Isaac Lenny to be one out. The wind just took the ball away.
Sorko to Neil. It's a minute 15. Can they win the ball back? The Sydney Swans. Blakey found the ball. The kick could go right, could go so horribly wrong. It's the risk you've got to take. Down to a minute. Ashcroft to Bailey. Not this time for Hugh. 55 seconds. The ball is where they want it to be.
They need to get organised behind the ball now. So Harris Andrews trying to get behind the ball. Joe Danaher behind the ball as well.
We know what Sydney are like. We know what Lockie Neal is like. And
What's the bonus?
it's the unpredictability of the bounce. Stays in. So Sydney get their look.
Got a running gun now.
From the deepest defence, they get it to the wing via Roberts. Blakey wears one, doesn't matter. Throw it, and a stretch out now. Corey Warner, searching ball into the pocket. Parker wanted a free, not going to get it. Decision time for Zorko. He tried to keep it in, and now he puts it on the ground politely for the umpire to throw it back. And it's 21 seconds, 21 seconds away from the Brisbane Lions being in the top 4. They lead by 2. McCluggage spun every which way. Gets it to safety.
Actually, he's got behind the ball as well as the loose along with Joe Danaher. Saved that last one.
Interesting handball from McCluggage.
Found a way. 12 seconds left. Gordon. Big whistle. Oh, it's a quick whistle. Well, this is it now. It's come down to 6 seconds. They are holding out for a hero. Warner or Heaney fight amongst themselves. The clock ticks down. And the Brisbane Lions crowd go nuts. the biggest challenge of the year. Answer it in the best way possible. They defeat the gallant Swans, and they are very much a contender.
Football's strong up here in Queensland. It's a full house. The crowd is going bananas. And a huge last quarter. Here McCluggage kicks some amazing goals early. Archer late in the quarter. Maybe it started the game off well, but what a game. That was an entree to finals football between the top team and now the second place team currently on the ladder before Carlton plays. But what a game it was. Fantastic intensity.
The game fitting of September, Brownie. If we get anything like that, we're going to have a heck of a final series.
It was just great. And courageous by Sydney as well. You know, they fought on. They had a lot of injuries now. Richie's down there with Archer.
Thanks, Brady. Carrie, you said big win. Great win, wasn't it?
Oh man, that's one of the probably best wins we've had. It was just like tennis, like each team they got us in the second quarter, we got them in the first. It was just, it was unbelievable, great win.
What was the message at three-quarter time from FaZe? Because it was a huge challenge. They'd probably let you off the hook in the third.
Yeah, FaZe just said we've got to keep at it. Pound the rock and just keep going, and yeah, that's all we did. The boys just hung in there, and yeah, bloody awesome win.
Well, you might as well do it for the first time. You'll do it many times tonight. Talk us through that goal. It must be your, probably the highlight of the year to snap that one home.
I missed the second one as well, like, yeah, I was just lucky I went through, and yeah, stoked for the boys. What a win.
Just have a look at it now. Straight off the boot, you're pretty confident.
Yeah, just kept going. I was like, just felt good contact on it, and yeah, I was just happy the boys just fought on tough all day, and it's a huge round for our season, so it's good.
And your own form this season, like you're in career best form. You're comfortable. You're in your team. You're playing a number of roles.
Yeah, I think it's been backing myself all year and playing forward, which I got drafted as a forward, and yeah, just loving my footy at the moment, and that's 7 in a row now, so we just got to keep this momentum going. It's awesome.
It is awesome. That was a big win against the top team of the competition. Congratulations and well done. Great stuff, Lloyd.
Thanks, Lynchy. Appreciate it.
All right, there we go, fellas. I tell you what a cracker jack of a game. It was. I tell you what, the atmosphere at the ground was electric. The crowd going off chops. And of course, unlucky MMA not to get your 7 parlay there. What a game. Chris, incredible. The Lions 11-13-79 defeating the top of the ladder. Sydney Swans 11-11-77. 6 times the lead changed in that final quarter. It was exciting. The final bit, and the final, they have about final 30 seconds down in the Sydney pocket. They had their chance. But I tell you what, could we be seeing the 2 teams that will play out in the grand final this year? It wouldn't surprise me. It was like a final. Hey, King, how you going, brother? What's happening? What's happening? Tell you what, another cracking game. That was a fantastic one. 2 points in it. It was like a final for the Lions, and they came through as victors. They needed to. If we just have a look at some of the stats there, who came out? Dane Zorko coming on top of 29 possessions. He had a good final quarter with Lockie Neal, who both lifted in that final. Goulden was a little bit quiet for the Swans. McCluggage, he set the Lions alight in that final quarter with a couple. Robbie Fox 26, Roberts 23. We just go down there. Warner's played all right. Both the brothers there, both on 20. Taylor Adams didn't do too bad on 20 either. Lockie Neal, as I said, he had a better last quarter there with Zorko. Lukey Parker, well, he was just a little bit quiet for the Swans, as was Isaac Heaney, their 2 guns. They needed to lift. I think the Brisbane Lions, they just wanted it a little bit more in that final term. We just go down there. Brodie Grundy wasn't too bad there for the Swans, 13 touches, 29 hit-outs. Keep going down there. Charlie Cameron, tell you what, he didn't play too bad in that last quarter, kicking the goal. Just the 9 touches though. Tell you what, when he's on song, he sets them alight, doesn't he? Nothing better, folks. Nothing better than when you're at the ground and the game is this tight, the lead's changing. The atmosphere is incredible. Will Hayward there, and Joey Danaher both top the scoring with 3 goals apiece. That's the behinds. Let's go to the goals. Hugh McCluggage, I should say, and Joey Danaher topped the goal scoring for the Brisbane Lions, 3 goals apiece. There we go. Joey Danaher didn't do too bad. 3-3 from 12 kicks. Hugh McCluggage 3-1 from 19. Hugh McCluggage was the man who set him alight early in that final quarter. Cam Raynar with 2. Will Hayward for the Swans with 2, with Corey and Chad Warner each with 1. Luke Parker, McLean, McDonald, Lloyd and Goulden with 1, with Armity and Taylor Adams for the Swans with 1. And, of course, Charlie Cameron, Zach Bailey and Achie 1 for the Lions. There we go. The AFL fantasy points, if you play the fantasy points there. Dane Zorko finished off well, 131. Not too bad, not too bad. McCluggage 119, Goulden 113, Fox 111, McErney 105, Rayner 103, Roberts 102. Oh, the top ones. Quick look at the stats before I head off. Great game, thanks. I'm off. Bye for now. Hugh and Joe's game. They were good. Thanks very much, Chris, for hanging in there. I'll probably be back hopefully in around 40 minutes for the Carlton North Melbourne game. We'll cover that one. Of course, I think Freo are leading the match over on the other game that's being played right now, starting the second quarter there. 23 Freo, 2 to Melbourne. Disposals, as I said, this is a pretty even game all the way around. Only 3 disposals in it, inside 50s. Brisbane just ahead there by 8. Efficiency, both not too bad there. The inside efficiency for both teams, not too bad. Brisbane lifted their act and sort of got on top there. Free kick 16-11. Didn't change the game at all. It was probably more the umpires let the free kicks go today, which was good to see in a finals type feeling of a game. Centre clearances, Brisbane by 3. Contested possessions, everything pretty standard, pretty even there. As I said, there was nothing in it with these two teams today. Brisbane Lions ahead on the marks by 18. Inside 50. Marks inside 50, pretty similar, 9 to 10 as the contested marks. 11 goals, 13-11, 11 tackles, both doing their job, both good pressure sides, both brought it today. The bounces, well, Sydney did a little bit better there, and the 1%ers, they did there. There we go. The Brisbane Lions in that final quarter, 4 goals, 6. Plenty of scoring to take the game out. Sydney just couldn't arrest that with just the 2 goals and 2 points. Heading to the ladder now, and that with the victory there for the Brisbane Lions, that now puts them up into second position on the ladder, with Carlton still to play this afternoon. If Carlton win, they will jump back up to second. Fremantle playing there at the moment. Fremantle are third. This is the live ladder with Fremantle in front of that game. That is the live ladder for Fremantle. That'll put them up into third. But Brisbane Lion, they move, the big move up into second position. Exactly what they want. They've got their season going really well, the second half of this AFL footy season. And tell you what, with 6 games to go, these two sides, these could be the 2 sides that will play off in the grand final. After watching the game today, I think that could be my selection, Sydney-Brisbane to play off in the grand final. It didn't really affect the Swans too much. They've still got 2.5 games clear on top with that big percentage. I think Sydney Swans overall will probably end up taking out the minor premiership. 6 games to go. It'll be pretty hard to see them drop out of top position. But still, it's anyone's race, folks, for the top 4 position all the way down to 8:42. There's only a game in it between 2nd and 8th. So it should be a great end for the final 6 games of the season. There we go. All right, folks, that's about all I got for this game. Thanks for joining me on the game of the round. What a ring-a-dig-dig. That was a cracking game today. It says anyone's game. It was Brisbane early, then Sydney turned the tide. Then it was Sydney with the lead of 15 points going into the final quarter. The Lions came back. Swans came back. The Lions came back. The Swans came back. The lead changed 5 or 6 times in that final quarter. But the Lions, too strong today in this epic game up there at the Gabba. And the Lions have a home win, 11-13-79, defeating the Swans 11-11-77. Thanks all for coming in. We'll catch you on the next game. Hopefully, I'll be back in hopefully around about 40 minutes for the Carlton North Melbourne game. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next one.